Right. A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today?
Morning, Gabe. Fine,
Hi,
thank
morning.
you.
Yes, all good. Today is cool and a wet weather over in UG. It has been raining since the morning. Good time to sleep, but then it's a Wednesday. All right. So I'm very happy to see all of you visit virtually today. Now, as you know, normally I will do it on the blended method, hybrid blended method, where I will run it in room 206 for those who can attend physically to come and attend. However, today both classes or both venues have been taken. All right, so that is why I have to run it virtually today itself. Now, this is something a little bit different from our friends from Penang. Our hybrid rooms over in UG over here basically are fixed rooms. So we have two rooms, 206 and 207. Whereas over in Penang, I understand that Jimmy has actually acquired a few of those mobile, what we call systems that allow every single room to be hybrid rooms. And that is something that is pretty good. Okay, so I've actually in the process of acquiring a few over for here too. So it actually makes it much easier for classes or lessons to be hybrid in nature. Okay, so this is how it is. I always learn from our good friends over in Penang. They have quite a few good things over there. And if possible, I try to implement it here also. All right. Okay. So for today, what we are going to do is we are going to do the session on transformative learning. So today's session will be to introduce you all to what this transformative learning is all about. All right. I believe many of you are thinking, what is this transformative learning? Why do we need to do transformative learning? Okay. What has changed over the more traditional nature of teaching and learning itself? The more traditional nature, which is the very physical aspect where the students actually come to us, sit down, and then we learn together. Now, why do I say learn together? Always remember, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about learning, learning is a two-way process. All right, students, of course, learn and acquire knowledge and acquire ability to learn from us, whereas we are also learning on the particular course or subject, and also learning about the methods that the student learn. So that is why it is always a two-way process over here when we talk about the general concepts and methods of learning itself. Okay. Now, for today's learning outcome, I have to run through over here. Learning outcomes for today, of course, we are going to start off with the future of higher education in a disruptive world. That is very important. That will actually set the tone of what transformative learning is all about. Okay, we need to see what is then now seen as knowledge education. What is the acceptance, or how are now in today's environment things such as like formal education being accepted as the gateway of career development? When we look into formal education, are we looking at the traditional MQF level kind of qualifications? We have the tahap 4, we have the 5, 6, 7, and so on. 6 is a degree, 7 masters, 8 PhD, 4 is a diploma. Those are very traditional. A diploma needs 90 credits and so on. So having the basis of the understanding of what is happening to higher education itself, then from there, you will be able to see when we talk about transformative learning, what are the activities or what are things that are being done in our institution. We have open ODL, open and distance learning. School of Business is very much a pioneer in this in our institution. Then we have things such as like micro-credentials. Why I will speak a little bit on the pathway towards the development of micro-credentials. Why are they done? And why is this actually so much emphasized by our government? And of course, we are going to look into blended and hybrid learning. Questions always arise. Why are we doing blended learning? What is the aspect of it? Why are we doing it? Some students don't like it. True. So that is what we are going to discuss about. Many new things. The first thing that happens when new things are being introduced is the process of rejection. All right. So when you introduce new things to the student, there is a level of rejection. Now, why do we reject? Because they are so familiar with their comfort zone. Comfort zone meaning things that we have done for many years. All right. So they themselves as learners are afraid to try something new. So what we need to understand is it is then our role to educate them on the benefits of this method of learning. Now, later when I discuss about blended learning, you will find that there are numerous benefits that come with the process or the delivery of your lessons in a blended manner. Okay, now, okay, so I think that is what we are going to discuss, and also we are going to have a better understanding on why we as an institution we need to understand that these changes that are taking place in our industry and what we need to do to ensure that we are competent, that we can survive, we are competent in what we do. All right, that is what it means by transformative learning. So when we talk about transformative learning, it is not only the process of the student itself, it is the activities that are done by the institution to stay relevant. Okay, because we need to stay relevant in this very competitive environment. Okay, we are a business. Let's be frank over here, guys. We are a private institution. We are a business. We survive on our ability to get students. We need students for our survival. Correct, right? Agree, yeah? That is definite. And students will join us, or students will come and take a particular program for us if we are competent. We are competent if the industry wants our students. If the industry do not want our students, then whatever we do will be irrelevant. And thus, the flow in of students will then stop because students won't want us because they cannot find a job. So if you look into this movement or this flow of our process itself, what we play, we are just a cog or just a gear in this whole process. Our role is to ensure that students that come out are relevant, students that come out will be accepted and wanted by the industry. That is what we are looking at. That is why for those of you who have gone through my OBE sessions, I'm trying to market my OBE sessions over here. You will find that I actually emphasize on PEOs a lot, program educational objectives. I find that is the one underlying factor that drives what we do, the PEO. This is what the students need to have. This is what the industry is looking for. So when we look at today's discussion on transformative learning, why do we need to transform? How do we need to transform? Then you will understand that this needs to be done because the industry is demanding so. Okay, the industry is actually demanding graduates that are very different from many of us think that this is what they want. We always think that it is the cognitive and knowledge aspect that is what the industry wants. All right. Whereas later, as you will see, the reality is cognitive and knowledge aspects is a given, definitely. However, what is important is the ability to adapt to the changing environment and the unpredictability of where we are today. Now, why is the unpredictability over there? Because it's very difficult for us to forecast. It is nearly impossible for us to forecast what is going to happen in the future. We won't know, okay? More so with the scourge of the recent pandemic that has in a way, shaken the whole sector that we are in. And by happening in such a manner, we are now, now we understand that it is difficult for us to forecast. If you're to ask me what is going to happen 3, 5, 10 years down the road, I can honestly tell you, it is very difficult for me to be sure. Not only to be sure, but to have any certain level of percentage of accuracy on the forecast itself, on what is needed in the industry. Okay. However, for us as educators, that is very important because we are tasked to churn out and to develop students who will be competitive, who will be relevant and competent in the industry down the road. So we need to know what is needed then. So if the industry needs something that is different from what we are doing, then we need to transform to ensure that we meet the needs of the industry. And that is transformative learning. All right, transformative learning. So when we talk about transformative learning there, the outcome is the activities that we do. All right, but it is also driven, it is very much driven by what the industry actually wants. All right, okay. Understand, guys? Hope you're following. Good. Okay, now during the whole process here, if you have any questions, you can write it in the chat, or also you can unmute yourself and ask the questions. I hope this is going to be a very interactive session. All right, guys? Good. Maybe you can just, can I have a bit of reply? Yes, good. All right, good. So I know that everybody is hearing me well. Okay, good. Okay. So I'm going on. No, you sound is good, huh? All right. Now, as to start over here, I have what I found out was this morning itself, I was reading articles and I found out this particular one, which is I think is very interesting for our discussion today. All right. Now, I'm going to read this to you, and this is going to be a bit of an exercise. Now, there is this guy named Steve. All right, Steve, his name. Here's a description of him. Steve is very shy and withdrawn, invertibly helpful, but with little interest in people or the social world. A meek and tidy soul. So he's a very meek and tidy soul. He has a need for order and structure and passion for detail. Steve lives in the United States. So that is a description of Steve. Huh? Now that you know a little bit about Steve, try to answer this question. Is Steve more likely to be a farmer, librarian, or salesman? Write your answer in the chat. Librarian, okay. Madhavani says librarian. What about the others? Librarian, good. Nora, Emma. Librarian, yes. Librarian, Valiant. So I see a lot of librarians, huh? Okay, so good. All right. Now, Mr. Fu. Okay. I see some of you are answering here. Okay. Can develop into any of those. Not wrong, not wrong, not wrong. Okay. So now, basically, this is just a statement. Read over there are certain keywords on this person's character. Now, let's see the answer itself. Now, Steve is 83 times more likely to be a salesman and 22 times more likely to be a farmer. So most of you are wrong. All right, all of you are wrong. Now, why is that? Why is that? Why is he 83 times more likely to be a salesman and 22 times more likely to be a farmer? Well, there are a lot more farmers and salesmen than librarians in the United States. Exactly. There are a lot more farmers and librarians in the United States. So what we see is this. If you look at the keywords over here, shy, withdrawn, helpful, and so on, it doesn't mean a farmer cannot be shy or withdrawn. It doesn't mean a farmer doesn't have a passion for detail. So what happens is this, ladies and gentlemen, we assume that those are the characteristics of a librarian. All right. There is a general assumption that doesn't impact the actual result itself. Now, where is this taken from? This is taken from this book, very interesting, Thinking Fast and Slow. And this book is by Nobel Prize winning behavioral economist, Daniel Kahneman. All right, Daniel Kahneman wrote this book. It is basically on his Nobel Prize winner and a behavioral economist. And what he tells us is this: we suck at predicting things. We are very bad. We assume there's a lot of general assumption when we do prediction. Okay, as what we saw earlier on, we see certain keywords and we feel that that is what is going to happen. Okay, now why am I stressing on this, ladies and gentlemen? It's because we are in business definitely. We are in private education. Private education is a business, and we survive on student numbers. So a lot of times we are doing prediction. All right, we are predicting. Okay, we are predicting what is going to happen. We are predicting the survival of a particular cause. We are predicting the next big thing. Okay, the next big thing means it's like what is going to be demanded maybe 5, 10 years down the road. We are predicting many, many things. And sometimes our predictions become untrue. All right. Why are these untrue? Because there is a general assumption that we know better. Okay, that we know better. We are academicians. Many of us have been teaching for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. So there's a general assumption that I'm being a teacher. I know what is going on. This is what is needed. And at times, what we do is we take, like what we saw earlier on, the general characteristics of Steve. And by looking at that, this assumption drives us to certain decisions. And this driving us on certain decisions based on our assumptions, many a times, I'm saying many a times, because majority of the times are wrong. Okay, are wrong. So when it is wrong, we make decisions in such a manner. And what happens then? When making decisions in such a manner that will impact our resources, money, manpower, and time, then we waste these resources because those resources can be used in something more fruitful. And thus, we lose the opportunity. This is called opportunity cost. We lose the opportunity for growth. Now, have we gone through failures in our development of programs, courses, and so on? Yes, we have. And that is normal business practice. Not everything is going to be successful. But can we continually have more failures than successes? No, because our resources are limited. If we have abundance of resources, no issue lah. You can fail 100, one success, no problem. All right. Now, that is why sometimes you always hear, wow, this successful businessman, so and so on. He comes from a very rich family. You know why or not? Because this person got resources. So he has the opportunity to fail many times, which we all don't know. But the big success, very good. Everybody knows about it because they have resources. Whereas a person who may not have much resources, layman like me and you, okay, we don't have that much chance. So we may fail once, we may fail twice, and we don't have the resources to even venture to our third investment. And the third one may be the one that will be the most successful. So we lose that opportunity. That is why our names don't come out in newspaper. All right. You see where I'm trying to go? Now, we as a business over here, as UOW Malaysia KD, we are the same. We have resources. We have many baskets. We have basket A, SCCM, we have basket B, SOB, we have basket C, SCCA, we have basket D, SHTCA, and so on. So all of these baskets require resources. So when you have a limited resources, you need to allocate these resources differently. So that is where we need to understand. We need to understand that how do we ensure profitability in the correct manner by putting the resources in the right basket, or even developing a new basket. Let's create a new basket. Okay, so this is what we are looking at here. Okay, so if we are looking to the general aspects of transformative learning, all right, when we go, the first thing we need to understand is, what do we transform to? Why do we need to? So we need to do now, what does the industry want? So that we can now transform our method of delivery, transform our target to ensure the survival of the institution. So when we talk about transformative learning, it is very much also comes back to reality of what do you call it, institutional survival. We need to survive. So this is what we need to do. Okay. So for those of you who can read this book, it is actually very interesting. I have not read it. I read the key notes, key aspects. So maybe for me to say it is very interesting is wrong because I have not read it. But based on the hints, my prediction, I believe that this could be or would be a very interesting book to read. All right. Okay. Now, education has become a commodity, where students are outputs of a well-oiled machine. That is what we are. All right. It becomes like a commodity. So it is like a process. It is a process of the students. All right. Students come in, students change, students out. All right. And it is out based on what the market demands. Factories are also the same. cars that have been produced by the big car manufacturers are based on not what the car manufacturer wants to do, but very much what the industry wants. So it is the same. So the machine that we are as a private institution, a university, a college or whatnot, is driven by what the industry wants. However, not being like in the machine or in factories, the input, humans are not uniform. All right, humans are not uniform. Okay. Generally, if you are a bakery and you're building bread and you're making bread, your gardenia, flour that comes in, 99% they are uniform, or 99.999% flour comes in will be flour. Okay. But we are different. We are in an industry where students in a class of 55, all of them are very different. Okay, you have those with high level of ability. We have those that are lower level in ability. We have those in between. And we have those who have many different other aspects, not only on ability, but maybe the readiness to learn. Ability and readiness to learn is very different. Ability is the ability to learn. Readiness to learn is they have the ability, but circumstances do not allow them to learn today. This could be emotional, personal issues that are impacting them and so on. That is another lesson that I can talk to you about. So I will not touch on that. So because humans are different, thus having a mold method, a mold, M-O-L-D, is basically like in the factory, you have a molding method. It's not possible for us. All right, it's really not possible for us. So in the traditional sense, where the industry was, if you look at how the industry was many years, 30, 40 years ago, they wanted workers. They wanted structured workers to be able to work in a factory or a company to do the same thing. Then the mold method was very feasible. Everybody learns the same thing. You go into the company, you do the same thing, all of you. If you're a typist, you just type. There are 50 typists over there. So your role is to type. If you're an accountant, you do accordingly. Balance sheets and whatnot. If you're working in a factory, all you do is just the manufacturing part. But today, things have changed. All right, today things have changed a lot. The industry not only demands a person that can teach, but they want much more. Look at the role that we are in, guys. All of my friends online today. We sign up as educators, but are we only educators? Honestly, no. We are educators, we are marketers, we are counselors. And DLL, dan lain-lain lagi. That is just a catch, excerpt of what I'm just saying, that three things. But we are many more, all right? But we are many more, all right? So what I'm trying to say is, when we look into this, if the demand of the industry changes and the input, our students that come in, is also varied in nature, is very different in nature, then our traditional method of delivery will not be sufficient. Correct? It will not be sufficient anymore. So we need to transform, we need to change accordingly. Now, but anything that is that for change, like what I told you earlier on, remember we were talking about blended learning and how the students reject. It is the same to us. Many of us will tend to reject anything that is new. Of course, I've been teaching for 23 years. If you ask me to do something new and different, I will question you. Why? I've churned out for the past 23 years so many graduates. Many of them are doing well in the industry. Yes, they are doing well in the industry for the industry that was yesterday. But industry of today and tomorrow may demand a person who is different. So even my style need to change. We need to evolve accordingly. Okay. So current emphasis on educational programs. Currently, it is when and how. When to finish, how to finish. When, this is a 3-year degree. 3-year degree, 120 credits. How? They come to class, they pay attention, attendance 80%, do assignment, finish, they graduate. This is my certificate. I am a first-class student. But the evolution now is a little bit different. The emphasis on education now is going to what is needed, not when, what is needed. Apa yang diperlukan? Apa yang diperlukan here is driven by the industry. Okay, what is required? And whether they do achieve that. So there must be evidence of this. In the current nature, what we see is, in what we are doing in this process of education, many a times when they go through with that cert, hoping that they can achieve what is required from them. But now the industry is evolving very much more. So whether they achieve. Now, I'm going to take a pause there. Why do I say whether they achieve? Because I want to take you all back to a very simple document. It's called the MQF version 2. Version 2.0, MQF, Malaysian Qualifications Framework. Previously, we had the 8 domains. Now we have the 5 clusters. And the 5 clusters can be subdivided into 11 subclusters. Following, okay? I hope those terms are not Greek to all of you, Good. When we talk about previously, it was very much we churn, this is what it is. But now what we see is, because of these 11 subclusters, it is clearly stipulated in the MQF that at the end of the day, students must achieve these 11 subclusters. And these 11 clusters are then, what are these? We have knowledge, we have cognitive, we have physical, we have interpersonal, we have personal, we have ethics, we have leadership, we have numerical skills, we have digital skills, and so on. So now we need to understand, education now leads to that. Our government, if you look at their documents, are very clear on transformative learning. Very clear. Let me just vouch for them. Their document is very clear. Why did they change from the 8 clusters to the, so the 8 domains into the 5 clusters, which are the 11 subclusters? That is transformative learning, because the government understood that the 8 domains were no more relevant in today's learning environment. No more relevant, because the market changes, industry changes. Certain things will stay the same. Knowledge, knowledge, cognitive, physical, leadership, ethics, still the same. 8 domains ada, 11 subclusters ada. Entrepreneurship ada. But then they look into other aspects. Not only do we have communication, we have also interpersonal and personal skills. All right? Interpersonal and personal skills. All right? Then we have numerical skills and digital skills. They emphasize digital skills on its own. Why did the government do that? That is transformative learning. They changed the policies because that is what the industry wanted. They hear the industry and they say that, hey, Malaysian graduates, you guys are 4.0, 3.5, keluar kerja cannot communicate well, cannot do digital stuff, example lah. So they change accordingly. Okay, those are the hints that I want to stress about on transformative. And this is what it is heading to. So when you look into whether those things are achieved is important in transformative learning. When we talk about ethics in student, whether ethical practices and behavior is then nurtured into each and every one of the student. So that is where it is. Previously, emphasis is on just education, churn out, how they get it. They come for class, finish, graduate, they get their certificate. Now, whether they achieve it or not. Now the emphasis is outcome-based lah. Betul kan? You got 11 subclusters. All of you are experts in this. All of you are teachers. All of you are facilitators. When you teach when you have your programs, there are the 11 subclusters. So ask yourself at the end of the day, when the students graduate, do they meet those 11 subclusters or not? Now, it doesn't mean it is divided equally. No. It doesn't mean that 100% dibagikan kepada 11, each one is 9%. Knowledge, cognitive skill is 9%, 9%. No. Knowledge, cognitive is always going to be a big percentage, maybe 60% of your total course. However, the other sub-aspects can never be neglected. That is the whether. Why? Because the industries are looking at it. Industry want people who are ethical. Industry want people who have good interpersonal skills and so on. Okay, so this is transformative. All right. Now, can I click? No. Now, basically, there is a, later you can see, I put this article over here from the Malay Mail, future-oriented teaching and learning. So this was this article was around 3-4 months ago. I kind of like that article because it shows that this is where the government has emphasized on to be future-oriented, and not only do they look at the students, they also look at the teachers. That means the teachers need to be competent to be able to do that. Now, many of you will say, Gabe, ini cakap saja, election coming. Betul. I don't doubt you. It's like that. But at least for them to have a thought, I'm maybe a bit optimistic about this. This is the drive towards a more transformative learning environment. Now, let me ask you a question. 3 weeks ago, the government has decided on abolishing something to change the whole education system. Can any of you tell me what did they abolish? Just write it in the chat. Betul. Marabi. Betul. PT3. All right. So now students in the secondary school will only have one formal sit-down exam, which is the SPM. Previously, they had PT3 and so on. And now there is more emphasis on classroom assessments. School or classroom, and I'm using the word classroom assessments, but you understand what I'm trying to say. It is the continuous assessments. All right. This is good. You know why is the government doing it? Because the government understands that the future, we want people that are able to work in groups, not just do exams, able to communicate. Those are the key skills that are required. And those are the things that needs to be nurtured. You cannot make a person work in groups immediately, you know. You cannot. It needs to be nurtured, and nurturing takes time. Takes time. Okay. So for me, I'm very frank over here. I find it's a good move. I find it's a good move. But I find being it as a good move as how it is, we still do not have the ability to do it. One secondary school teacher easily control 40 people in a class. You want to do continuous assessment for 40 people is not easy because there's so many of them. How do you then gauge individuals' performance? If you want to do it properly, I'm saying doing it properly. You want to tutup one mata and just take Ali 6 marks, Akau 4 marks, Alvin 3 marks. It's a different story. But if you want to do it well, there must be scope. Number two, you want to do it well, your teachers need to be trained. And let me tell you guys, even for me, I am a practitioner of outcome-based education. It is so difficult to do assessment for group. Group assessment is not easy because it is so subjective. And when you need to quantify what you give to a student, because the marks that you give to the student impacts their future, and you need to make sure that you do it in a proper manner, there is a lot of training that needs to be done. The person needs to have training. The person needs the ability to do it. Because if not, it is going to be slipshod. And once slipshod, there is no justification. Okay, so it's not easy. I see idea good, transformative learning by the local government. However, the implementation still needs time to look into. Okay, so this is what we're going. Now, if you put into our environment, in our environment, we are the same. Because I have checked with HR, majority of our colleagues, easily more than 80% of all of us in UOW, Malaysia, KDU, Penang, and UG campus are not trained educators. Many of us do not have our first degree or our master's in education. We are what you call professionals, practitioners, that due to circumstantial aspects became educators, and we enjoy it, and we're doing a good job. I'm not saying you're not doing a good job. You're doing a brilliant job. You're doing a brilliant job. But we may not have the fundamentals, right? The key aspects on assessment. How do we do assessment? How do we come up with a marking rubric, for example? The marking rubric is critical to ensure fairness. So these are the things that needs to be considered when we look into transformative learning. So what I'm trying to say here is this in a nutshell for this part. The government is really looking at it, and that is the best indication of transformative learning. They transform policy, they transform processes, and this is transformed to meet the future needs. All right. So now, if they are doing it, what about us? Okay, what about us? Where do we stand? We are governed by official documents. The MQF document, I would like to give you all a bit of a hint. Read that document. It's actually a very good document, the MQF. At night, you cannot sleep. You read, definitely sleep. Okay, no lah, no, it's not that bad. I find the policies are that good. That is where they are going to. Now, let's reflect on ourselves. Where are we going? Okay, so I'm going to now do a bit on a quizzy, quizzy, yeah. So let's participate in this quiz for me to have a bit on the feel. Hold on, give me a second, I'm going to buka this one. Sekejap. I'm going to share the link, sekejap, sharing. Okay, guys, paste. Ta-da! Yeah. So I think you all know what to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this all the way here so that we can see the result. Okay. Future of education. You can see it, guys, boleh, I start. Okay, sign in already? Yes. Emma is in. Come. Fellow players. Wow, Emma, you very good. You put your full name. Most of my other participants had to put fish lah, cat lah, and so on. Come, guys. Come. I have quite a few participants here, so please. Acid. Wah, baiknya. Siapa ni acid? Oh, no wonder. Emma, I have account. Good. Come on, guys. I only have 3. I'm waiting for the others. Please, please. M&Ms. Wei Sheng. Okay, basically you just have to copy that link. Okay, copy that link. Put it on a browser. Click it, and then you are in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I will count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, start. Let's see. Go. I mean, you guys know what to do, right? You know. Okay. Okay. All right, good. So, do you think the current educational model will still be relevant in the future? 66% of you say yes. There are 2 that say no. All right, there are the 33%, 33.33% say no. You're not wrong. Okay. Later, I'm going to explain to you what has happened is this. It is only relevant. It is only relevant when the industry regards it as relevant. When industry do not regard this as relevant anymore, then you will see a big change. Diploma, degree, masters, all will change. All right. Because if the industry finds that at the end of the day, it is very much ability of a person, not just the paper qualification, then they will hire those with that. How do they evaluate that? That is a different story. Currently, with that paper qualification, the universities are evaluating the person for the industry. You hold a degree, you go to the industry you're telling the industry that university has evaluated this person, and this person have the ability to learn this discipline to that level 6 in the Malaysian qualification framework. and at level 6. And the definition of that level 6 is clearly identified. That is what it does. Okay, that is what it does. But many a times, as you know, with that paper, go out, it still may not be so. This person may not be able to demonstrate that particular skill. Okay, so this is where it is good. Okay, next question. By consulting your crystal ball, all of you got crystal ball, huh? List 3 skills critical for the person who will join the workforce in 2025. Huh? 2025, 3 years down the road. What are 3 main skills you think? Apa? You type, then you send. Information technology, says as it. 3 lah, 3. Jika boleh, write down 3. Tak apa. Digital skills, soft skills, IT. Okay. Logical thinking. IT, soft skills, artificial intelligence. Communication, teamwork, basic IT knowledge. Okay, good. Okay, now, no worries. Now, you look at this, all of you, very true. You're putting in the key skills that are basically what you feel. IT, that this is what the industry is going to happen, is going to change. Communication skill, teamwork. We don't put in cognitive skill, you know. We don't put in we don't put in things such as like subject related skill, cognitive analyzing. No, we put in more soft skills to the aspect. So this is what we see also. This is where the lacking is there. Now, I want to emphasize on this part also, because many of you put IT skills, you know, or digital skills. Do you think that will be second nature for people who graduate in 2025? Now, second nature means this, you know, that means they are skills which need not us to educate per se, because it is already now second nature to them. For example, for the young today, you need not teach them about Facebook, Twitter, and so on, because it is second nature to them. All right. I still remember in the mid-90s when I was doing my undergraduate studies, we even had what you call IT classes, computing classes. So where we go into the class, and then after that they have this is called a CPU, Central Processing Unit. Inside got motherboard. Then we got the processor, we got RAM, we got hard drive, and we got PCI cards and so on. I think for some of you, same age as me, you understand lah. Okay, this is called monitor, CRT, cathode ray tube. See, I still can remember all of this nearly 30 years already. Cathode ray tube, all right, VGA and so on. Now, is that been done today? Generally to all the discipline, unless it is very computer-centric discipline. So you want to know the history. But other than that, no, it is no more taught. It is then, it is understood that this is not needed anymore. People previously, you know why we learned that? Because when you have your own PC, at times you need to do troubleshooting, you know. Why my PC cannot start? It could be a loose card. So that is why. But now there is no need. Now they're all devices. If you do a rough survey or just a feel in your class, many of your students do not even have a desktop. Correct, not? Or even a laptop. Everything is by mobile phones, tablets, and so on. All right. So that is where it is going. All right. Good. All right. So at least you see what is it. Next question. Below are the top 5 skills employers are looking for. Betul lah? Which skill do you think we are least preparing our students in? Least. This one. Paling kurang. Okay, I have one answer there. Professionalism and strong work ethics. Critical thinking and problem solving. teamwork, leadership. Come on, I have 2 more members. I'm waiting for 2 more members. None of the above. Uh, so Mr. Fu thinks that we are preparing them. Is it? Are we preparing them correctly? So, but I'm what I stress here is least preparing. So yes, you may be preparing them, but which one are we not emphasizing enough? Least. Oh, that 2 more participants are not in. Okay, Lamai. Okay, yes. Teamwork. Okay. Now, now I just wanted to stress here that I think many of you do see it in that way. When we, yes, we have critical thinking and problem solving. That is more academic skills. All right. Yes, to be true, that those are the things that are, there are some things that you may feel that is lacking, but that is very much our responsibility. However, there are 4 individuals that put things such as like teamwork and collaboration. Okay, why are we not emphasizing enough on teamwork and collaboration? What about professionalism and ethics? Yes, it's true. These things are very important. And also leadership skills. Now, if you look at it over here, these major skills are taken from actual current research. However, they are also part of the 5 clusters. The 5 clusters. The 5 clusters actually emphasize on the same thing. And you all already here have proven that there are a lot of these soft skills element that are lacking. One key aspect is, it is true, it is lacking because it's difficult to evaluate. It's difficult to evaluate leadership skills in a student. It is very difficult. How do you know, or what then defines a person who has good leadership skills? Okay, high or low. Another one is the ethical behavior. All right, ethics is major. Okay, you can't do a final examination, nor can you do a test on ethics. Do you need to do a particular what do you call the activity? How then do we evaluate this? What is the accuracy of it? Okay, so those are the things that is going to drive us when we look into transformative learning. Okay, and the final question, which now, this one I'm going to ask you, don't worry, you can write, you're supposed to write our competitors if you want. Which institution comes to mind when we say innovative and future ready? Ah, which institution comes into your mind? Siapa? Taylor's ke, Sunway ke? None. Ayo, baik. This one is a politically correct answer. Okay. None. All of us on the way. Tak ada ke our competitor? Tak ada ke any of them? Huh? Which one do you think? Could it be like a what a Harvard is doing, what a Taylor's is doing? None comes to mind. Okay. Oh, betul ke ni semua none? Okay. Okay. Uh, all right. Fine. Do none too. Okay. All right. Now, later I will explain to you. Later, I'm going to show you one of our main competitors that actually does this very well. That actually is really very much future ready. I'm going to show you, and I can bet when once I show you who they are, you will not be surprised. You will know that they are actually very very I would say ready in this. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for participating in this. At least we have a snapshot on your what you actually feel on these general aspects on key questions. Now, why are these questions important? Now, the reason why these are important is because it gives us a snapshot of what we understand. Where do we actually stand? What are we doing well? Are we being ready for the students of the future? Okay. Okay. So it is 9:52 at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a short break, 8 minutes. Okay. Please be back at 10 a.m. sharp. As you know, where I sit in the office, I need to run to the loo. My toilet very far away. For those of you in Penang who do not know, it's pretty far away. So I need 8 minutes. All right. So guys, 8 minutes. Be back at 10 a.m. sharp. See you. Hi all, you're back. Hello. Yes, okay. Good. As you know, Prof. Wilma is actually in UG. Okay. She's doing a session with our colleagues, and she's supposed to be at 10 a.m. being picked up. Okay. However, it's already 10, and I got no contact from the person who's picking her up also. So I'm a bit concerned. That is why you saw me checking on the phone. But then, of course, KL, it's raining at the moment. And over in KL, for those of you who are from Penang, when it rains, it's a total different environment or a total different city. Okay, so everything takes a bit of a standstill when it rains. So that could be one reason. I hope so, lah. I hope that is the only reason, right? Okay. So you don't mind, I'm just leaving my phone switched on and ring just in case because I've sent them a few messages. Susah nanti itu gas hilang. Okay. So, what is transformative learning? Apa tu transformative learning? Stems on the reality that the status quo will not be sufficient to meet the changing educational needs. So that is the key thing lah. Status quo is what we are actually doing now, and we find that is we will not be sufficient anymore to meet the changing educational needs. As we said, educational needs of the student is driven by industry expectation. So industry expectation evolves, educational needs also evolve. Okay. Key to the challenge will be the implementation of new program and course delivery modes. So it is the delivery modes will change, and also to the teaching and learning instructional methods used in the classroom. All right. So delivery modes and instructional methods, program delivery modes here can look at things such as like blended learning, hybrid, and so on. And the way that the instruction is being delivered in class also is going to evolve. Okay, so now as you can see, like what the scrapping of PT3 is basically looking at the change of delivery modes over there, which drives the instructional method. Okay, so now teachers in secondary school cannot only teach, dulu they mengajar only, let the student do exam. All right, I still remember during my time, we had this thing called SRP, Sijil Rendah Pelajaran, if I'm not wrong. Okay, it's called SRP. Give me a second, message sudah mari. Okay, good news. Sudah sampai. KL jam. Very bad. Good. Okay. So basically, last time SRP is the same. You study one time, so the teacher is just a person to put knowledge, okay, just to teach. However, now is that change, okay? So the delivery modes and instructional methods. Well, okay, hold on, dia sudah mari. I just gonna say hello. Hi, Rob.
Just wanted to let you know, we got caught in traffic and Zach forgot his phone. So I said, it's okay, I know where to go. I've already told them that I'm here and I was gonna let you know that
Thank you
I am
very
here.
much. All right. Okay.
See you later.
Thanks, you. Okay, Prof. Wilma came to my office just to say that she is okay. So she said that is Kuala Lumpur's traffic. Yeah, that is how it is. That's good news. Okay, so the delivery modes and instructional methods, even our secondary school teacher need to change lah. So the mindset change for our secondary school teacher because PT3 has been removed. So now they need to strategize. So they need to make sure that the goal is achieved. What is the goal? The goal is continuous assessment for the students. And the why continuous assessment? Because they find out that this is what the students will need to be competitive in the future. All right, the skills that they will attain through continuous assessment. Okay, so that is how at that level. Now, let me ask you, why do you think they didn't take SPM away and also do continuous assessment? What do you think? Can you can unmute yourself? It's an open question. If continuous assessment but is so good, why not take away SPM? Jangan malu. Sheila, what do you think? Yes.
What do I think?
Salamnya.
I feel SPM is still important.
Yes, SPM is still important. Standardized exam to ensure everybody's on the same playing field, is it?
Correct.
I think we need the student to be there to do the thing themselves, to do something on the spot, rather than doing something before or after. Some form of test in that has to be done.
Okay, some sort of test. So as I said, having one standardized exam to have one benchmark for everybody, correct?
Yeah, something
Okay.
like that, rather than just with, continuous assessment.
You are not wrong, You're not wrong, Now, let me explain to you why. This is something I've done a bit of reading and I find this is the reason. Very simple reason only. I'm looking at the layman's aspect. PT3 can, because you see, the reason why PT3 was scrapped and they want continuous is, if you look into the 11 subclusters, the knowledge, the cognitive skill, and the practical skill, that one, you still need one key final exam at the end of the period of study. SPM lah, cannot run away. Whereas if you look at the others, interpersonal skill, leadership skill, ethics, and so on, this is gradual progression, gradual. You cannot just make a person ethical overnight. You cannot. It is a gradual progression. You cannot just make a person be able to have teamwork overnight. It is gradual. You need to find the challenges, work with friends, failure, fight, pull people's hair, tumbuk, then slowly you learn about the benefit of it. And that is gradual. So that because it is gradual, it is something that will be nurtured since Form 1. Form 1, they will start. Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, so they will learn. So those skills there will be nurtured the whole way through. Whereas the final gatekeeper, the SPM there, will still be an evaluation on the cognitive knowledge and practical skills of that student. Taking into consideration whatever they have learned, that have nurtured in the past 4 years or 5 years, will support the final grade over there. You see? Now, so that is right, because what is important is the LO. What is the learning outcome? The assessment that when they scrape off PT3, PT3 is an assessment. When you scrape off PT3 and you change your assessment because your LO has changed. Always remember that. Assessments are driven by learning outcomes, not the other way around. Assessments, whatever assessment you put is driven by learning outcome. So the reason why they scrape the PT3 is because the learning outcome has evolved. What is the learning outcome? What is important for them at this age of 15 years old? They need to know how to work with people within different cultures, within different ethnic groups. They need to fail. Fail means not gagal. They need to fall when doing assignment and get back up again. That is what they want to achieve. That is why they change the assessment method. They change the assessment method. See, so basically that is how. So it's the same thing lah. Why is transformative learning? They are doing it. Okay. So now if you look at our context. So if you look into transformative learning needs, look at Edu1, I'll deliver content, I am the cikgu, I give. 2, I adjust how and what I teach so that it gives the best chance for success of the student, Edu 2.0. Edu 3.0, I'll provide you with the resources. You see, now we are actually at the stage of Edu 3.0 based. This is something that I extracted from this guy. I find it very interesting. Where it is now, I provide you with the resources, but you go and get the resources on your own. The whole process of learning is not the knowledge, Knowledge is one aspect of learning. It is the ability of that person to go and source the knowledge on their own. I give you resources, you source it on your own. You put the initiative to get the knowledge. Once you put the initiative to get the knowledge, you value the knowledge, and the process of getting the knowledge is the LO. You see, the process of getting the knowledge is part of the LO itself, the learning outcome. All right. It is the journey, not only the destination. And that is what they want. Because when you go through the journey, you will go through trials and tribulations, ups and downs. So when you not doing well, you ask question, you dare to ask, you question, you ask for support, and these things are building up a person's leadership skill, building up a person's personality. Okay. So this is something that was widely neglected in the traditional sense of learning. Come to class, student, don't open mouth, quiet. Paham tak paham, quiet only. Self-arrogance in such a way that they feel, why should I ask? Your role is to teach me, I'm to absorb only. So now it is that changing aspect. So when we look into transformative learning, the way that we deliver from Edu 1 to Edu 3 here basically is the structure. It's not saying that we are lazy, you know. That is why I always tell my colleagues, guys, flipped classroom is very effective. Students initially don't like flipped classroom because they say, cikgu ni lazy lah, ask me to go and do one chapter. But once students understand the rationale behind the flipped classroom, they will actually have a epiphany, you know, in such a way that, well, this is the way it should go. Flipped classroom requires the student, in the most basic sense, flipped classroom requires the students to be able to explain that particular area or topic to a wider group of audience. They are the one that teach lah. But for them to teach, they need to learn. For them to learn, they need to go through the trouble of learning. So the LO is achieved. When they teach, if you're able to teach, it's the highest level of comprehension. You know, that's why you can deliver. You see? So that is the benefit of a flipped classroom. And when students understand that, then they will see, I'll provide you the resources so that you can learn the way you want to do it. That is what Edu 3.0 is. Okay, that is where we are heading towards. We hope lah. Traditional aspect, no. A lot of our students, no. A lot of our students still Edu 1 and Edu 2 because they come from an educational system that it is so given. The teacher give. So with what the government is doing now to PT3, is more group work, is more initiative, then I can safely tell you, by simple equation, in 3 years down the road, no, serious, PT3 just removed, so those students will be SPM in 3 years down the road. Okay, in 3 years down the road, the students that come to us should have a different mindset, because the way that they have been delivered will be different. The way they've been nurtured, the way that they've been nurtured in secondary school will be different. In 2025, you will see students joining us, and you tell them, okay, students, this is what I want you to do. You go back, you do your reading and so on, and they will do. I hope lah, my fingers are crossed lah. That is what is the aim of the government lah. That's why they took off the assessment method, because the learning outcome has evolved. You get what I'm trying to say, guys? So in that sense, we are on the right track lah. The implementation is a different story. Okay. So why do we need to evolve? Why do we need to evolve in such a way that we need students to source their own information, to be sustainable, to be responsible on their own? Because of this, we are now in this fourth revolution. Okay. Some of us even say that maybe this general revolution aspect is something of a bygone era. It is now changing so fast that in the blink of an eye, things will just evolve. Artificial intelligence, knowledge, and whatnot. Later, when I show you what is the careers of today, you'll be quite amazed. All right. We have what do you call things such to do with like Bitcoins and whatnot. Those are the things. It goes up and down. Do we know what's going to happen in the future? What is the career that's going to drive our business? It's very difficult to say. Okay. Next, future of job report in 2018. Why I use this 2018? Because they forecast in 2022, this year, in 2020. So let's see whether reality or not. Okay. What in 2018 they already forecasted. Today in 2022. Is supposed to be the emerging jobs: data analysis, AI, machine learning, general and operations managers, sales and marketing personnel, software application, big data specialists. See, in 2018, they were forecasting. So if you look at today, How true is this? This is very tech-based, right? Not very tech-based. Now, based on what has happened when the epidemic when the pandemic impacted us, is it still the same, or are there different kinds of job that is emerging that has now become relevant? Okay, due to what has happened when COVID impacted us. Okay, but overall, if you see this, it is majority of these points over here hold true. They are very true. Okay, this is what it is. And what is declining in 2018? What is declining is data entry clerks, accounting. Now you know already, even accounting can be done by artificial intelligence to a certain extent. Okay, even stock broking, you know, those when you what stock to buy and so on. Now you have what you call robo kind of tech advisors, robo advisors that advise based on the study of the graphs. So these are done by artificial intelligence. Okay, no biasness, done by artificial intelligence. So this is what they say. Administrative, executive secretaries, factory workers, all right, assembly and factory workers, and so on. Okay, I was just reading an article. This I think it was yesterday or today. I'm very much into cars. Okay, that is my passion. Okay, you know Geely, Proton. I'll use Proton easier lah. The Proton is actually sub-owned by a Chinese company, and that company now has actually now just launched, just opened up the new factory that's going to build engines. So this engine is going to be the 1.5 engine that's going to be used by the X50 and the X70. Once it reaches quality, it's also going to be used by Volvo, because Volvo is under the Geely brand, which Proton is under lah. You all know about that, I believe. In that factory, if I'm not wrong, roughly around 52 subsections, 52 area sections. And out of that, even in Malaysia, 16 of them, or is it 15 or 16 of the sections will be fully automated. Now, sections means what? For you to build an engine, you go through processes. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Stage 1 is going to be the block. Stage 2 is going to be this and that and so on and so on. 15, that means over 30% of the process will be fully automated by robots. Then another roughly 20 to 30% will be sub-automated. Then remainder will still require human intervention. We don't go total yet, you know. Traditionally for us, it's totally manual. But now Geely has come in, so now we have this factory, this work line that is 33% totally automated. Another 30% semi-automated, and finally human intervention. 100%. That's where your engine comes out. This is what's happening. Now, by doing so, why are they doing this? Because if you use technology, it reduces errors. Okay, you reduce error and no need to pay overtime. There's no MC, and there is no what do you call that? Hari ini I got a problem at home. Car cannot start and so on. This is where we are going. So from the general aspect of assembly and factory workers, there is already just simple mathematics, a reduction of 33% of workers that earlier on was needed in the assembly line. So are we saying that there are less jobs? No, it's the same. We still need people to maintain. We still need people to create. We still need people to have an overall view of what is actually happening. But those things are declining, and that is very true. Okay, so if you see there is quite a few new growths in our country, businesses, foreign investors and whatnot. But a lot of these are more than now tech related or related to those that are fully automated. Okay, so when we look into this, that is the changing aspect. So are we preparing our students for this? For those of you in the hospitality industry where it is very, I would say, human-centric, people-centric, are our students being ready with this? But you say, Gabe, they are hospitality, they don't need AI machine, they don't need this and that. I beg to differ. Hospitality graduates may also need to look into e-marketing. But also, now because that is where it is going. Many of us will trust a Facebook post more on a restaurant than we do on a normal advertisement. All right, because that is how we see. All right, the general aspect that it was posted on Facebook from a friend who has posted it has a certain level of trust that drives us to want to try the product. Okay, so that is the landscape. So where do we stand? Are we preparing our students for this? 2. What are the future job ready? Okay, so in the 2022 skills, analytical thinking and innovation. One of you put that in, right? Not this is something that needs to develop through analytical skills, critical, active learning strategies, creative, originality and initiative, self-driven. We need people to challenge status quo to be driven. What is declining? Manual dexterity, endurance and precision. Manual dexterity on skill means doing handwork. Those things are going down. Those things are going down. Good or bad, we see lah, because that is what the sector is going to. Okay, I know of my colleagues over here who are now helping their parents running restaurant. My colleagues here, actually. So one of them, in actual fact, is helping the brother, family business, dim sum in Penang. Okay, but I heard from her, won't go far. They cannot really. It's doing very well. It's an old restaurant in Penang, doing well, but nobody to take over. Nobody to take over because the young now, where are they going? They are going to different kinds of fields. All right. So those kinds of aspects are also changing. What is the general impact, okay, of the young? What do we see? What are we getting? What is the general education that is being given to them on the general perception of what a career is? Okay. So the jobs of tomorrow, this is more updated. These facts were only a few months old. It was end of 2021, all right? Published in 2022. So what are the jobs of tomorrow based on this? Number 1, businesses will focus on upgrading their workers' skills to stay competitive. Very true. Okay, businesses, after the shock that has happened in the past 3 years, they realize that a lot of their workforce are not ready for this kind of shock. Okay, so now they are upscaling, okay, certain skills that are needed for the staff. So we need to make sure that our graduates already have those skills lah. Number 1. Number 2, tech-related cloud, blockchain, analysis, investigator. This is also a job. This is something which they have found that the general growth is a very big figure over there. It is tech-related things such as like blockchain, analyst, or investigator. In 2025, analytical thinking, creativity and flexibility will be among the most sought after skills. Look at this. Analytical thinking, you all said, is the creativity and flexibility. Flexibility means hospitality graduates doesn't mean work in hotel only. There must be that flexibility if the students want to be competitive. Okay, there must be. That's why later I'm going to explain to you. I'm going to show you one of our competitors that do it very well. I find that they can be very future thought in a way, and at times can be a little bit too much. But they are there. They are actually there. Socially conscious and environmentally responsible society, care and green economy. This is another growing aspect for jobs of tomorrow. Why the young today are a little bit different from us, The young today realize that there is only one world that we live. This is the current one. We cannot go anywhere at the moment. So if this particular planet that we are in deteriorates and is not fit for human living, then what is going to happen then? What is the worth of wealth? So there is this drive. Okay, so are we driving? Are we as educators in a way preparing our students for this socially conscious and environmentally responsible society? Okay, content creation, social media management, content writing, another growing one. Social media, we have people who are actually they hire what you call professional content creation or social media managers. Nothing to hide. Let me tell you this. The VC of UOW Australia, Professor Patricia Davidson, she has a person who takes care of that for her. That is how big the business is. That is how the whole market is changing. Okay, you have what you call social media or what you call PR individuals. Now, the word PR in the traditional sense in today is going to look into these aspects, social media and whatnot. And this is big business. This is very big business. When is the last time you bought Star newspaper? Let me ask you all. Ada beli newspaper? I use Star because I used to be the one every morning I will buy Star newspaper one. Okay, I'll buy newspaper for many years, read, then start work. Very important for me. When's the last time you bought newspaper, Star newspaper? Yes, no, no, never. Okay. Previously, if you look at the newspaper, thick, a lot of things inside, a lot of advertisements, a lot of advertisements. You look at Star newspaper itself, majority of it are advertisements because that is the main newspaper people actually purchase. Today, you buy Star newspaper and you see very, very thin. Barely any adverts inside already. Newspapers survive on adverts. So now they need to look at a different plan, a different business plan. No, but I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to say is this. How do then people get get information about products and services? Where? It is social media. This is where it is. We are then convinced very much from it. The traditional aspect of it is gone. Very, very much gone. Many of us don't even watch the national televisions, the terrestrial TVs, TV1, TV2, TV3, and so on. That's where advertisements are. Okay, we watch cable TV and so on. Okay, because it is paid, the type of advertisements are also different. So how? That is where it's changing. And also, remote work is here to stay. All right. Remote work means working from home and so on. Okay, because things are more knowledge based, knowledge related. Okay, creativity. Then being physically at work will then evolve. There's going to be a general evolution on this. Yes, you know, we were working from home, then we came back. Okay, but as time goes on and the changing nature of work, where it is going to be output based, what is going to happen is this is going to stay. This is going to be even bigger. Okay, why? The general aspect on traveling to your workplace is something that is very inefficient. Many of us more than 2 hours a day, just traveling itself, more than that. Okay, and when you travel, there is a risk factor. There is a lot of wastage. Okay, so those aspects. So you ask yourself, is there still a requirement for this to happen? Okay, so these are the jobs for tomorrow. And because these are the jobs of tomorrow, it actually drives what we are supposed to give our student. Okay. So the report then also stated that there is a requirement for more days of training of staff because to be competitive. A lot of the staff traditionally were not ready, do not have the required skills. They need to be retrained. All right. And of course, the gig economy. I just want to run through a little bit over here is on the growth of the gig economy itself. All right. So these are certain statistics from PwC on how it is growing. Now, when we talk about gig economy, guys, don't just think on the Grab drivers, don't just think on the food pandas and so on. Teaching is also a gig, is evolving to a gig economy, programming, designing, a lot of things. Okay, gig economy where it actually goes into short-term aspects of delivery itself. So these are the things that you may think for us, we pride on stability. We are traditionalists, we pride on stability. But the young may not be. They look at values that are different. For them, it is the more intrinsic values of growth, self-growth that could be important. So they may not look at loyalty and stability. For them, yeah, work 1-2 years, go holiday, travel, come back, do this, do that, and so on. Slowly, the evolution is actually taking place. Okay, young people need skills and experience for jobs of the future, not the past. So this is why transformative learning is important. We need to ready them for the jobs of the future. All right, and the jobs of the future, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, it is we can't predict lah. We won't actually know what is it, but this is what we need to prepare them. Okay, so with future skills, living longer, definitely, millennial mindset, and so on. So these are the key things. People are living longer. Singapore now, 2 weeks ago, if I'm not wrong, retirement age from 62 to 63. Currently, Malaysia is 60. Are we then going eventually? Why? Because we are living longer. So the cost of living longer is there. It is not cheap to live longer. Okay. The cost, what cost? Not monetary cost, health. Okay. So working people will still need to work. In the traditional sense, when we used to what do you call it, retire at 55, and the average age of a Malaysian is, if I'm not wrong, 74 average age. All right, 74 for ladies and 73 for men, if I'm not wrong. There's a 1 year difference over there. All right, so what are you going to do for the next 18 years? We always say that is the time that you put your leg up, relax, enjoy the fruits that you have planted, harvest the fruits that you have planted. But for those of you who actually have done that, taking away that routineness or not having a certain structure, it can be quite difficult. And to rely on our offspring to support, it can be difficult. So this is what is happening. All right, this is what is happening. So we also need to look at, are we readying our students for this kind of world? Okay, this kind of world that we're looking at. Transformative learning. All right, we need to look into that. Of course, to do transformative learning, you need to have transformative teachers also lah. That does take some time. Okay. Any questions so far, guys? Any questions from you all? Yep. Our friends over in UG and also in Penang? No? Okay. All right. Hope you guys are following. Okay. Now, another aspect that I would like to stress is the number of institutions in Malaysia. We have 20 public universities and we have 467 private higher learning institutions. Whew, a lot, right? Not? So, and out of that 467, 47 are private universities. The list is 2019. I just want to put a caveat over there. So there could be certain upgrades and whatnot. But overall, look at that numbers over there. We are looking at roughly around 500 institutions of higher learning. Every year, we churn out roughly around 500,000 SPM graduates. And of that amount, not all of them go to higher education, but only a percentage. So when you look at it, not considering foreign students, the market is very saturated. So many players and so on. And to say that we are better than our competitors, we can't say that lah. Okay. Generally, if you look at the general benchmark of FA, full accreditation of a program, hospitality program in UOW Malaysia, KDU, hospitality program in Taylor's, differentiating factor, not much. Lebih kurang sama. Okay. It's true. Basically, we can't say we are very good or whatever. So because of that, it is important for us to understand that what are we actually doing to make sure that we are competitive, that we stand out from our competitors, we stand out from the others. Because those differentiating factors are the things that will drive the student over to us. If not, then nothing much can be done. Students will then look at, if everything is maintained, everything is the same, products are the same, price is the same, everything all same, no differentiating factor, then students will look into key elements that will differentiate. Could be advertising, could be location and whatnot. But if the differentiating factor is price, we are so cheap, others are so expensive, then it's different. But as you know, we are not playing that game. We are not playing the so cheap game. Our price is roughly there. So when we look into transformative learning, maybe there's something we need to shout out. We need to tell the people, we are playing in this field and we will then differentiate ourselves from the competitors. We want to make sure that when you graduate from us, you will be different. You will be competitive. And we do that. It's called graduate attributes. I hope you all can remember. We have graduate attributes of all our students. And that graduate attributes are what a student is supposed to attain upon their graduation. Okay, All right. So that is supposed to be our differentiating factor. Now, is it policed or is it governed or is it checked thoroughly? Said in a way, but it is not. It is based on trust that this is what is given. Okay. And this is something which we as educators will need to uphold of lah. Students coming to us will graduate with these key graduate attributes. Okay. Now, so basically that is what is happening lah. That is what is happening generally. Okay. The future of higher education in a disruptive world. So now I'm going to touch on these three key aspects here. What is the future of higher education? And in this world that we are in. So number one will be the end of a golden era, a golden age or era of universities. Okay. Disruption is underway in higher education. There's big disruption that is happening. And of course, transforming and optimizing universities. I think the first thing we need to look at here is the end of a golden age of universities. All right. So now what we see is tuition fees are going up. Fees are getting more expensive. Students' debt. A lot of our students take PTPTN loan. There is debt over there. All right. And some students also are thinking, why do I want to go into debt? But in the traditional sense in Malaysia, in the Asian context, higher education or tertiary education is still seen as a traditional path for students to go into. Very traditional. It's like something that the parents would definitely send. But when you look into a lot of more Western societies, this is changing, okay? Because of the high debt of education, a lot of them may say, why am I going into this? Do I need this? Do I still want this? And if suddenly employers say that you can join me without a degree, habis lah. Education expensive, employer no need degree. Why would students want to study? They go lah, right? Not traditional. See, so will that come a time where the employers will look into that? I will show you some employers already looking into that. Some employers looking into that. Escalating administration costs for universities. Yes, our price, our selling price of fees, students' fees, the increase on a yearly basis is lower than the inflation rate. Okay. Now, some of you may say, yep, but for the past few years, increment lah itu, tak ada lah itu, but in the general sense, it's true. Okay. Fees going up, lower. So it's a very simple equation. You need this to support this. Okay, so this is now a big challenge. So as institutions, when there is and there's escalating administrative costs, what needs to be done to ensure that the quality that the students attain is still there when cost is going up, and you need to tighten your belts. Doubt about higher education returns on investment. This is also another key thing. There is high doubt about higher education's return. Study, do this program. I mean, it has gone a lot in social media about, hey, fresh graduates come out, gaji 2,002, 2,003, 2,004. Okay, that is not motivating. You invest in a degree, 80, 90, 100, 120,000. You come out, you start working, you get 2003, 2004. Okay, but that is what the market is. So sometimes our students also very rational. They equate. I take that money, I masuk banker, I do investment lah. I of course, investment got risk factor. Education so risk factor ma. Not all students graduate, right? Parents invest 120,000 for students. Student after 2 years drop out. It's still an investment. So this is what they say. Okay. So spiraling costs but limited funding. And then also we look at digital competition over here. Depending on the region of the world, e-learning is expected to enjoy a compounded annual growth rate of 7.5 to 10.5%. Okay, so what we see is digital competition. Traditional universities need to take the lead, need to change because digital competition. If you can do a virtual or ODL degree from American university, let's say, I mean, or a premium university, all right, Ivy League, maybe not Ivy League, a good university, all right, that you do not need to be physically there. The quality is the same, but you do it virtually at half the price or even similar price to a Malaysian degree. Then questions start to arise. Why not I do the digital one? Why not I do that particular foreign degree? At the end of the day, it carries that weight. Okay, all right. So there will be a time where the acceptance, now generally the acceptance is still a little bit lower, but there will be a time where the acceptance will be on par. Once the acceptance reach par between traditional and virtual, which I believe, I'm not saying it is not, then what is going to happen is, will we see a flow from traditional to virtual in that sense? Because now you are getting a different product at that price. Okay, pricing of the product, something to think about. Okay. 2, disruption is underway in higher education. Higher education for us, there's a big disruption. 4th industrial revolution, all right, that's what I explained to you. So that is really, really impacting us. The ability to transform will be critical for all education institutions to cultivate so they can shape and respond to a changing world of education. Institutions like us, we are very big behemoths. Universities are large behemoths that move slowly. Once you move slowly like a ship, for you to turn, it takes a lot of time. So what is our ability to transform? Being traditionalists, many a times we forecast. That's why when I did the evaluation with you earlier on, we did a simple test. You look at the hints, immediately we think he is a librarian. Okay, so we tend to not change fast enough. We tend to not, we are very slow, change also slowly. By the time you change your angle, what happens is things have changed. All right, opportunity is gone. Okay, so this is what it is. But when you change, you have to make sure the industry is ready to accept also. For those of you who have known, who have been with KD, been with UOW many years, you will know that quite a few years ago, I think this is roughly 18 years ago, I developed a program called the Diploma in Golf Resort Management. All right, yeah, this is true. From infancy all the way to launching everything, all the research, I actually did it. Okay, Nora can remember. I hope so. Hey, you remember my biggest failure? Let me tell you my biggest failure. All right, monetary lah, not thought. Okay, we did research. So many golf courses in Malaysia. No expertise. We did survey golf courses. Yes, we don't have graduates. We don't have enough people. We don't have people to do this and do that. We did international research. Golf is a growing sport, growing very fast. So we initiated the development to be the first in Malaysia and Asia, Diploma in Golf Resort Management. We work with a partner called Saujana. Saujana Golf Club, one of the best in Klang Valley. We developed the program. I had experts from Malaysian Golf Association, MGA. All right. People, so they come and do part-time teaching. Very good people. Syllabus also we got from Australia. All right. Work because those people over there, they are very good in sports. One university over there. Not for me to say. Develop, launch, newspaper, everything. First cohort, 3 students. Second cohort, 2 students. Third cohort, 2 students. My boss called me to the room. Hey, Gabriel, come, sit down. Kita tak boleh tahan lah macam ni. I say, come on lah. I got fit lah, market already say. We do counseling, we go education fair, we tell, we got golf resort management. The parents, wow, 很好啊, 很好. Mandarin means very good, very good. Yes, I also play golf. This is big business. When the son sign up, diploma in hotel and catering management. They're not signed up in the golf resort. This is called having a product before the readiness of the market. Market not ready. All right, market not ready. Market was still a little bit fearful. So after the third cohort, fourth cohort, I got, I think, 2 students. Then after that, my boss say, sayonara lah, we cannot maintain lah, mati lah, this one, seriously. So we faced off lah. A lot of research done, everything done. I accept responsibility, definitely, because it was my baby. But what I'm trying to say is this, ability to transform. We initiative lah, try. Sometimes you fail also lah, that's what I'm trying to say. You at times you do fail also, even though all the work that you put in, because we assume Because we did research. Because when we ask people, they say they want. But then we need to understand, in Malaysian context, people are very conservative. Wow, nice, oh, sweet, oh, ho, ah. But in the end, don't take. Okay, so at the end of the day, they go back to the conservative. Today, different. Things are a little bit different already. Market is changing. Previously, in the early noughties, 2004, 2005, 3, 4, 5, that time, parents dictate a lot on what the students learn. Parents influence. Today, it is the other way around. Students decide on what they want to learn. They tell the parents. Okay, but I'm not saying all, but there is a big wave on this kind of behavior. Next, demographic change. Very important. I'm going to stress on that later. Later, you're going to see. I'm going to explain to you Malaysian demographic change. That is why we need to change also. We need to look at our target. Are we targeting the right people or not? Okay. Are also underway that influence everything deeply. Okay. Demographic change. Aging population, low fertility rates, shrinking support ratio, working people 25 to 64 versus to 65 and above. Okay, working population is shrinking also. All right, young people getting less. Our SPM numbers are not growing. All right, it's roughly around that phase, that numbers over there. So where do we get our student? We need to understand our students come from SPM leavers, O-level leavers. If that number is not growing and competitors are growing, the pie gets smaller. So we need to be transformative in the way that we learn, in the way that we deliver, by looking at different areas. Maybe working people. You need to target working people. Foreigners, definitely. All right, foreign market, foreign students. They cannot come. Never mind. Stay in your country. Let's do it virtually. Let's do it ODL. That's why School of Business, very good, very proactive. MBA, ODL. Is that the way to go? If we have numbers not high, could it be we are not pushing it enough? Maybe. All right. Are we targeting the right market? We could be. Our name in the market as ODL, it is still not there yet. But that is the way to go because we need to get more students. Every student, ladies and gentlemen, look at how much. If it's a degree student, what is the average fees now? 90,000? 90,000, some even I know maybe 100,000, 70 to 100,000. So we are looking on an average of 30,000 per year. Every student that we sign, 30,000 per year. Okay, so roughly lah, lebih kurang. Okay, so the demographic changes. This is disrupting higher education. We need to look at different markets. And also, declining domestic numbers over in US is very, very true. US, Australia, UK, local numbers going down. They rely a lot on international market. Same to us also, our local numbers are not growing. So we need to rely on international market. Traditionally, our international market used to be the Chinese nationals, the Indonesians, and even the Bruneians. Bruneians not so much lah, but the Indonesians and so on. But it is now much less. Where are they? Let's ask the questions. Where are they? Our traditional market for international students now have reached a different level of demand. So where do they go for international studies? Now they go to Australia. Previously, they come to us due to factors, all right? Social factors, cultural factors. Now they are so internationalized. Many of them from China may have gone to Australia yearly for holiday for the past 10 years. And now they're going there to study. You see the difference? Because now they have that disposable income to travel. We are now not seen as the preferred international destination for education for our traditional international market. So what do we need to do? We need to look at different markets. Looking at different markets is not that easy because we also need to adapt to their cultures, adapt to the way. So we need to transform the way that we deliver also. This is to be relevant. Okay, now, some of you may say, yeah, where got such thing? You go to Oxford, you go to Cambridge, nobody adapts to you. Yes, they are Oxford, they are Cambridge, they are MIT. That one different. We different. Just being frank. Okay, our market is different. The competitors we have here are different. Okay, you want to go to MIT, you adapt to MIT. All right, you adapt to their culture. All right, you adapt to the way that they are. You go there, you don't like sayonara, babe lah, bye-bye, go, leave. Okay, they can do that because on a waiting list, there is a list. that are 4 to 5 A4 papers long that are printed on 8 size font, very small names, but there's a waiting list. So those are the big differences that we need to look at. Okay. Give you another example. For those of you, I believe your head of school may have already informed you. We have decided to have a August intake. Tahu kan? See, I'm not saying I'm negative. I'm rubbing here because I'm getting hot only lah. August intake, good. We understand. Okay, August intake. Why are we doing those things? Market is changing. Market is changing the way that we adapt to the students. Okay, have to evolve also. Okay. So I just want to show you one key aspect over here in what we look at on a disruption in higher education for us. I'm going to show you, this is called the ethnic composition of population. So let's be realistic. All of you are UOW Malaysia KDU staff. Who do we target? Who are our main audience traditionally? Traditionally, it is the non-Bumiputra that joins us as a private learning institution. All right, let's accept the fact. Let's call a spade a spade. Okay. You just look into the number of our target audience. Look at the ethnic composition of percentage over here. In 1970, the Chinese, 35. You look at that, the Indians, let's use it as an example. And then as it goes on the year, it goes down. Now, these are our target audience for us. Okay. Then, as you look into 2010, from 2000, let's take the Chinese for example, because it is just easiest benchmark there. Here, it has gone down to 24%. And then in 2019, 2020, the 24% has gone down. This is 2019, 22.8 and 22.6. From 1970, or I would say private institutions, from here, it has gone down 5%. And here, it has gone down much more. Why? Of course, going overseas, also the Chinese birth rates are actually pretty low. I'm not talking about sociology or whatever, or the difference in ethnic breakdown. I'm looking at our business, UOW's business as a private institution. Oh my God, if we are targeting that market as our main market and it's shrinking like that, I cannot sleep, friends. Correct, right? Okay, this is what is impacting us. Okay, this is what is impacting us. We need to be realistic. We need to change our programs that we are churning. Why are we not getting the numbers? All of you are staff. You all get the statistics from your head of school. Some of you already know this. What is our percentage for our May, June numbers? 45% achievement. UG lah. Penang, I don't know. I speak on UG. I get the statistics. Nothing to hide what you guys are staff. 45%. 46% lah, maybe lah, you know. Are we targeting the right people? Are we doing the right thing? Are we doing correct transformative learning to bring in the students? If we are good, if you're the good product, people will queue up lah. People will queue up to join you ma. But if we are only getting 46, 47%, something may not be right lah. Are we targeting the wrong market? Are we targeting the market with the wrong product? Are we communicating wrongly? Okay. Are we meeting what the industry wants? Okay. Maybe the industry people are not shouting, say that we are so good in graduates, so people do not know about this. So something is not right lah. Okay, something is not right lah. So when we talk about transformative learning, you may say, yeah, ini marketing punya cerita. No. Ini kita punya cerita. Okay, kita punya cerita. Toyota, you can market as much as you want. If the car is not reliable, people won't buy. Why people buy Toyota cars traditionally? Why reliable? Why is it reliable? Because the people who make the cars put their heart into it. The gaps, very small, no squeaks, tahan lasak. Marketing is marketing. But if the product no good, cannot market. You can you can market until the cows come home, your product no good, go out one time, people scared already, they're not buying. I tell you the story about Peugeot in Malaysia. You know Peugeot, right? Peugeot is a big car manufacturer. Okay, I don't use Peugeot, I use Volkswagen. I drove one of the first few customers. 2009, Volkswagen came back to Malaysia, if I'm not wrong. I can't really remember the total history itself. 2009, dulu adalah. They make good cars. So they market. But the cars itself have certain issues. So when in 2010, 2011, a lot of us who know about cars, we actually bought Volkswagen cars. It's not cheap, huh? I'm talking about not cheap, exceeding 6 figures one. All right. Not saying what lah. That was I like cars, so I was a bit crazy at that time. Marketing was good over there. Volkswagen marketing. Hey, good car. This that we know. Wow. So we buy. But a lot of us had problems. Okay, problems with the gearbox, problems with the mechatronics, problems with this, and then the service was horrendous. Service, I'm talking about service. I want to link it to us. You bring your car to the dealer. Oh, can you come back? I said, how to come back? Car cannot move. Oh, your car, you need to wait for 2 months for parts, no parts. So, good car, innate problem. Us customer, after selling our cars, getting rid of it, will never buy it again. Even though now they have changed so much, they've improved. We have improved, but this is called phobia. Once bitten, twice shy. Okay, so we have been bitten. Okay, we trusted you, you fail us, and this is how it is. Same thing for us. All right, marketing can be good, but if the product has an issue and you don't solve the issue fast enough, customers won't come. So we talk about transformative learning. Okay, this is it. Later, I'm going to explain to you why am I linking it these two. Later, I'm going to show you. Learning is not about education. Students' experience in us of the product is not only about the learning itself. The learning is only one part of it. There are many different parts that will be the complete experience of the student. Okay. Ding. So the age of the customer demands personalized education. So what we see is customers now looking at personalized education. They want it to be what actually that is suitable for them. So you see the 1900s, what kind of companies, mass manufacturing, global connection, connected to PC in the 1990s, age of information, the age of the customer, 2018, yes, Uber, Airbnb, right, not. You try searching this. You just go into your Google to search. Let's say you search watches, Seiko. Then when you go into your Facebook, suddenly you see Seiko advertisement come out on. Why? Suddenly you see those things coming in, even though you search in Google. This is the age of the customer, age of technology. All right, this is how it is. So the main question here, ladies and gentlemen, is this beyond. And I want to show you this. This is just basic illustration. 1900, 1960, 60 tahun. 1960, 1990, 30 tahun. 1990, 2018, 28 tahun. It's going down. So the beyond, you may think, Gabe, beyond another 30 years more. No, the beyond can be in another 5 years or maybe 3 years time. We won't know because things are going so fast. Things are going so fast. Who knew that now a watch you will be able, I mean, in the 50s and 60s, you used to watch movies like Get Smart, Inspector Gadget, and so on, and people talking to their watch, and you think, wow, that is the future. And today that is normal. Some of you are using what you call the Apple Watch. You can actually communicate. The Apple Watch even has an inbuilt ECG. It checks your health, and it hints to you if you're not feeling well. It even has what you call a shock sensor. If you fall, it calculates the G-force and will automatically beep. If you don't stop the beep in a few times, it will call emergency services to say that this person has fallen. It could be an accident, okay, because he is not answering. He is not stopping the beep. That is what has happened. Okay, that is what has happened. So the beyond. So are we then ready for this transformative learning? Are we getting ready for our students? This is what I want to show you. I really like this actually. Honestly, I didn't do this. Taken from KPMG. All right, KPMG. So student experience, SX, the SX factor over there equates to what? What is students? We always assume that students' experience is very based on the class that he joins with Sheila or Hema or Valen and so on. No, there's only one part, students' experience. Students' experience equates customer experience, the customer experience, CX, which adds in learner experience and personalized experience. Learner experience is the experience of you as a learner. For you to learn, you need to go through the process. Customer experience is the key thing that you buy. You buy knowledge. Personalized experience are the challenges or the interaction that you have with all the support systems. So a student who enjoys the courses in School of Business, Nora is fabulous, Sheila is fabulous, Siti is fabulous, as an example. I know they are so happy. Yes, ma'am. But I won't come back to UOW Malaysia KDU. Why? Every time I go and pay my fees, I always gonna scolded there, you know. For what? You see. So what is happening is student experience is a totality. So when we look into transformative learning, as I always need to stress this to the other departments also. Everybody plays a part, you know. Everybody plays a part. The person who controls the aircon or the lighting or the bookings and so on is a critical aspect. Okay, I think you all know this, right? Not 2 weeks ago, in our Google page, you know, review. You know about Google review, right? You can go into Google, you search UOW Malaysia KDU, you can write review, good or bad. You know, there was a comment. Oh, so much investment and so on, but then aircon very bad lah, never on time lah, and so on. So disgruntled customer has blasted out. This student may be a 4-pointer, enjoys your class, but fed up because of the aircon. And because the thing, nobody will write, I like Miss Sheila's class, fabulous lecturer, very caring. No, barely lah. But they will write no aircon lah. And that one goes around. It's Google review ma. Google review, everybody sees it ma. And what is happening today, as I said earlier on, remember the Star newspaper has shrunk. We are then influenced by the mouth-to-mouth reviews. So this is what's happening. Okay, so student experience. What do you think of this, guys? I want to take the few minutes for you to share your experiences or what do you think of this aspect over here? And as in transformative learning, it is then important for us to not only see that what we teach, how we teach, but also look into the way that we transform the whole experience of our product to our students.
Definitely. You know, I give you one of my experience.
Yes,
I get
please.
ready a class, right? My slides all what canggih lah. You know, I know what I'm going to talk to the students. Activities best. Sekali I go in lah, the projector don't work lah, and then I cannot get it to on lah, and then I had to rely on my own self to just talk to the 100 over students in the lecture hall. You know, putus lah. What they call it? Terus pisang lah, they call it. Habis lah the whole thing.
Yeah. And if you look at students' experience, they know you are knowledgeable, they know you can, but due to this hiccup, sometimes it does impact
and
the
then
students'
finish,
experience.
you know, that's it lah, your class, finish. You get me?
So
After so much of that preparation and, you know, trying to give so much to the student, because now we do everything technology, everything is from the slides. If that is gone, and what is that? And one thing, so the aircon has been bothering us for the last few days, many of our colleagues also, because they give us the remote now, you know, and some of it is not working. So they actually end up passing on pictures of students and lecturers drenched in sweat, you know, to just show you, that it's really happening. It's not a story, a rumor, or what. And it's bad for us, Gabriel.
I understand. I feel for you, especially what I'm showing over here. All right. Now, can I get some feedback? What about our friends like Madhavi or Dr. Chia over in Penang? What do you think about this, the student experience part? Any feedback from that? Okay. Now, basically, what Nora said is very true. Okay. What we see is the students' experience, the whole aspect of it is a accumulation of all experiences. Okay. Still rote learning. Yeah. So see, when you talk about rote learning over there, at the end of the day, I mean, there is a comment. Let me just, sorry, because my chat box is moving. Yeah. So at the end of the day, There's another one writing. Okay. It does have an impact. Are we then reading our students for the future? Now, what I want to emphasize over here is this, when you talk about transformative learning, I always want to emphasize that it acts in many ways, okay? It acts in many ways. The experience of the student is not just limited to what education or what knowledge that they get. It is the whole experience of the product itself, all right? It's like, as I said, buying a car. All right, buying a car is not only the payment that you do, but the next 5 years when you send it to their service center. So if the service center is horrible, what will happen is your whole experience of the purchase of that particular vehicle, that car itself, will be tarnished, even though it is a good car. But because the service center is not professional and this and that. So sometimes it is important for us to understand in transformative learning, the experience that will be a key factor. Okay. The next part here we want to stress is, in recent years, there has been talk in the sector about blended and flexible learning. That's what we do. For the past 2 years, we have already started. We are a blended learning organization. Okay. But basically what has happened is traditionally, reality is that the online resources have supplemented the dominant method of delivery. So what we have seen is more of just a supplement. It is still very physical, but there is the online aspect to supplement. Now, what I want to stress over here is many institutions now are looking at this virtual aspect of learning. So there has been quite a bit of research done, and what they have identified is this: the benefits of virtual or blended learning. Okay, so if we take blended learning is an integration of the traditional or conventional with using technology. Now, using technology, why is it good? Is because it requires a different method of learning from the student. Student will learn from different methods, will absorb differently. All right. So when they absorb differently, they adapt differently, they will mature differently. Okay. Now, it is the same as when a lot of our students, when they go overseas, sometimes you wonder, hey, why are this student in locally very lazy, but when I go overseas, suddenly very good student, very hardworking. Why? Because of the situation. Over there, they may need to do prior readings. Over here, when they do prior readings, when you're required to do prior readings, they don't read and nothing is done. But over there, if you don't do your prior readings, your colleagues or your friends who do the prior reading will then island you out. What's wrong with you? So over here in Malaysia, if you do the reading, you are the island. Nobody else reads. So say better don't lah. I don't want to be an island. Over there, overseas, because of a different learning environment, over there, if you don't read, you are an island. So they adapt to it. They adapt to it. Okay, example. So the style there, it creates a student's maturity on attaining knowledge. Put that same scenario into virtual learning. Virtual learning is different now. It requires students to learn in a different context, where your senses will now be more tuned to different environments or cues. Okay, that's what virtual learning is. So students will need to take more initiative in the learning itself, especially if you look into your SIMS, self-instruction material, SIM, like for those of you who do ODL, when we talk about that, we talk about ODL, SIMS. SIMS requires students to learn on their own, to do prior learning, and to ask questions when they are not sure. Correct, right? You're not sure, you're not that, please write email to Dr. Brian, this and that email, and then you reply. So it changes the aspect of learning, That is been identified as a good method of developing students' personality and learning. You may say, Gabe, but our students are not like that. That is the thing. So the goal is for us to transcend so that the students will be able to be like that. Will be able to take responsibility of their learning. The initial stage is going to be difficult, but once it is accepted, it's going to be the norm. PT3 taking away is going to be difficult. Difficult for the parents also. Why? Now parents, ayo dulu saya tak perlu buat apa, wash hand. Now I need to help my son to do assignment. That means parents are involved in learning. Now parents are involved in learning. Teachers also earlier stage, oh, you're pening kepala, need to learn a lot of things. Now different style of assessment. But in the future, as time goes on, it'll be beneficial to the students. It'll be beneficial to them. All right. So when you talk about blended learning. Okay, we must not see it as a method of reducing workload for the lectures. Oh, we do it online, teacher can stay at home. No, 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 it's actually more difficult. It is more difficult. Okay, there's so much more things. All right, for those of you who do ODL classes, you know what I'm trying to say. It is more difficult. But look at the benefit to the student, the development of the student itself, that is what is the critical part when we emphasize on this virtual or blended learning kind of environment. Okay, it has been researched, it has been found out that it actually benefits, okay, the student. Now, am I saying 100% virtual? No, 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 not yet. Now we're only doing a few baby steps, because our students are not ready. Our students in the traditional sense have not been ready. They have been fed. Now they want to go to be on their own. It takes time. Okay, baby steps. But what I say, as I said, eventually with the changing aspects in our secondary school, this can now be expedited. Okay, so the percentage can even increase on learning. So number 3. So we have already gone the 2 already here. First one, let me just run through a little bit. End of a golden age of universities. Disruption in is underway in higher education. And now the third one, transforming and optimizing universities. Okay, so this is the key change that is also impacting us. Many higher education institutions around the world are at or fast approaching a crossroads where that will define their future in terms of strategy and operating models. Okay, this is a fact. Why we need, because now universities like us, we have reached a crossroad already. Where are we going to go? Where do we put our resources? No point having 5 lecturers in that school when that school got 2 students only. This is called a crossroad. A crossroad happens where a decision needs to be made on where we are heading to. Okay, so when we look into this, at this current stage, okay, why is transformative learning such a critical aspect? Because at this crossroad, we need to decide if we stay on our status quo, what will happen? If we are to change, what are we to change to? Okay, so the question is, do they transform? Universities are asking, do we transform? Do they optimize? How do I optimize? Do they do nothing and react later? Do nothing lah. Let's wait lah. Wait and see. Wait and see. You wait and see, you see lah. Mati. Do they do nothing and face the inherent risk of inaction? Do nothing, and then if you inaction, the market changes, and the market changes very rapidly. We need to be ready. We need to adapt. So this is the question. Okay. So when we look into this, there are actually 8 key things that is impacting us. 1, borderless. Education become borderless. You can sign up to for a degree, a virtual degree easily. Why did we go to ODL? Why do we go to ODL? Because we found out that there are a lot of students who want to come over, but due to the challenges traveling, you know that you still, over in China, there is still a restriction to travel. They want to study but cannot come. How? ODL lah. So that is the ODL route to go lah. That is the market lah. You may say, okay, how many are we going to get? Okay lah, to be honest with you, if we get 5 or we get 10 students lah, already good lah. MBA how much? Nora, MBA berapa sekarang ODL 30,000
25.
25, 25 okay. 25,000, you do ODL, you get 10 students, 250,000, 250,000 ringgit for the 10 students who will finish in 18 months. 12 months to 18 months, something like that, if I'm not wrong. Don't quote me on the duration.
You're right. 1 year, 1 month. 1 year, 1 sem.
1 year, 1 sem. So not so bad. Okay. So basically that is it. So borderless. Now, we are doing it, people come to us. But don't forget, Singapore is also doing it. England is also doing it. Australia is also doing it. And I can tell you, inside news, you all know lah. I mean, we are partner with UOW and so on. They are also doing it actively. They are also doing it. They also see their market. Hey, how to, because cost maintain cost student go down, cost maintain, you need revenue law. How do you have revenue? You need to try different things law. You cannot cut, you cannot reduce salary. Okay, you can cut costs. That's what we are doing lah. Okay, why do you think we are so concerned about electricity and so on? Because staff costs we maintain, no cut salary, student numbers go down, so you need to reduce costs. So what can we reduce? Variable lah, something like electricity and so on lah. So that is how it is. Number one, borderless. Number two, shorter courses and degrees. Okay, students are looking at shorter courses. Okay, and also the word degree means qualification. They do not want to spend 3, 4, 5, 6 years and so on already. So they're looking at shorter. They want to go, they want to try. A lot of the students of the future will also look at they're not certain. So they may want to do other things first. Okay. 3, digitally native cohorts. Digitally native are people who are then second nature is computers. Second nature is technology. Last week, I was at SMK Bukit Manjalara. Bukit Maluri, sorry. SMK Bukit Maluri. I was giving school talk. I brought my colleagues. We did 2 sessions, morning and afternoon. Morning session, Form 3, Form 4, Form 5. So I was talking to them about examination skill and this and that and so on. Afternoon, Form 1, Form 2. So I Form 1 to I garu kepala lah. Ayo, how to do Form 1, Form 2 lah, you know. So not used to that market lah. So not used to that group. So used to teach the older people. I so sometimes get, you know, how am I going to target these people? And I was wrong. A few things I learned when I went to the session. Never underestimate the Form 1, Form 2. They were a fun bunch. They were so outgoing. They were so willing to speak. They even spoke more than my students that I teach, you know. Okay, that I teach. They are so more outgoing, you know. They really volunteer. Sir, teacher, they call me teacher lah, teacher, you know, this and that and so on. Number 2, I was telling them, so students, you know, when you all went for online, because these students, they experienced online teaching, you know, so it was difficult. So I said, no, it wasn't difficult, it was okay. They are orang bandar lah, I'm talking about the bandar one, they are the bandar punya student. Technology for them second nature, no problem. Can, tak ada hal. You see, not for them, that's what they said. No problem, can we learn, okay. So that is the feedback I got from them, you know. So we always thought it's difficult. Sometimes when we read the difficulty in learning, yes, it is true, without a doubt. Okay, it could be because we only hear the negative parts, but there were a lot of positive parts also. The only thing the students that told me why they don't like is cannot play with friend. No friend, no, because no physical mah. 1 tahun kat rumah, you don't mix with your friend, no. That is the thing that they miss. Other than that, can. Then I was asking the student, so PT3, suka ke tak suka, now cancel already, show of hands. It was balanced. Some of them don't like. Sir, I don't like they take away PT3. I like PT3. Structure, we know what to do. Sekarang kita tak tahu. Students telling me they like PT3 because got structure. Hazim and I who were there, suddenly our mouth. Form 3 student telling us, no. You see, I'm trying to say, now, why? Native. These people are different, you know. These people are different. Now, could it be that I was speaking to the crumb a la crumb, the top students, the good students, it was 100 over, they were the good students that normally don't come to us. I don't know. I'm not trying to be naughty. Are they the one that goes overseas and so on? So far, my impression, so far when I've gone to school to give talks and seminars and so on, they have always impressed me, you know, the students. Okay, but sometimes when I see our students over here, they don't. Why? Is it the method that we deliver? Is it the environment that we create? Who are we targeting? That's number 3. Digitally native cohorts. So we have to understand. Virtual learning for them, no problem. In the future. Okay. Next, experiential learning. Learning through experience. See, demand will grow for learning by doing. Learning by doing is something which is really pushing much. 4 or 5 years ago, Malaysia government already tried to push vocational studies. The word vocational studies mustn't be seen as taboo, mustn't seen as tak baik. Vocational studies is good, seriously. It is taking a skill, all right, being good at it, all right. In a lot of these European countries, what has happened is skill-related jobs are actually very high paying. The only thing in Malaysia only okay, a little bit scary. But I kid you not, even those with graduates, those with masters and so on also don't pay that well. You guys are my colleagues. I think I can tell you all of these things. I do hire staff, and few months ago, I was in the process of hiring staff. I do interviews lah. I interview, and then I get their resume, interview for my department and so on. So I was looking, we all, we need to hire PhD holders, preferably highest priority, unless it is very skilled, unless it is butchery, cutting chicken, that one different lah, PhD. So in the interview process, we always talk about salary and this and that. I kid you not, I got applicants with PhD holders asking 1,500 for salary. My friend, 1,000. I'm not saying anything. I'm just trying to tell you. They are PhD holders asking 1,500 for salary. Not I give, they tanya, they ask, in their, under the application. What has actually happened? Okay. You see what I'm trying to say? Is the market that bad? Okay. What has actually evolved? Okay. And it drives in the way that when we look at how the demand is, what is actually happening to education or the job prospect in our country. Is that right? Okay, where even those with a tahap 8, PhD tahap 8 lah, and MQF tahap level 8 mah, is asking that as a start. Must be desperate lah. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say over there, okay. So where the whole experiential learning aspect, that is going to change, So we may want to look into vocational studies. Don't look down on vocational learning and studies. Okay, those things it could be the future. What is going to be needed in the future? We need to look at that. What do people need? People will still need those to come and do your piping at home. Okay, people will still need those to come and do electrical wiring. All of those things, yeah, those things will still be demanded. And when demand is higher than supply, price goes up. So don't be surprised next time you call a person in, a technician or whatever, he say, saya datang saja RM200 belum buat kerja lagi. Datang saja nengok, boleh buat ke tak boleh buat. Sekarang is roughly how much? Now it's 60 to 80 ringgit lah. Okay, 60 to 80 ringgit. I know. Sometimes I try to do on my own at home, but if I don't burn the house, we used to have this website called Kautim. Now no more Kautim already. Now tak boleh Kautim. Sudah tutup. You call, datang saja 60 to 80 ringgit just to see. Tak boleh buat or whatever recommendation, tak ngam with you, burn. You still need to pay that amount of money. Okay? This is how it is. Experiential learning. So when we look into it, is the changing environment over here, maybe it is something that we need to consider. Learning, experiential learning, involve the students in the whole aspect of experiencing, and through that is where learning takes place. Lifelong learning. Okay, learning is continuous. They don't stop learning. Me and you, we are also continually learning. I still do my reading based on my interest. I should read more on my job related, but I still read more about my interest. But this is also lifelong learning in all of us. Okay, and this is what is driving students. Okay, then we have competing at scale. One of the extraordinary developments in today's economy has been the rise on the platform business. Okay. What it means is platform business competing on scale means using technology where it is very customized to your learning, very customized to your learning. Because remember, we did research, and we in our initial session when I was explaining about the demands by the industry wants people who are adaptable, who are willing to, who are not only just discipline based but have a wide array of knowledge. Okay, so because of that, I say innovation, and a very innovative institution is this fellow over here, Taylor's University. I mean, I don't work for them. I respect them. I find they are very positive. Okay, some of you may work for them and say otherwise. I do not know, but I find them to be very proactive in the aspects pertaining to learning. Okay, I'm going to show you here. See, Taylor's have this Taylor's curriculum framework. You can see right on screen. Now, what they have over here is they want to develop the students with multiple skills. Same as us. So what they have is different kinds of electives and majors. So generally, in a nutshell, you all can go on your website and have a look on your own. It's like this. Let's say I'm a hospitality, I'm an engineering student. So in engineering itself, there is a requirement for my courses. Okay, so these are the requirements. So if there are certain electives, what they design it to be is they make it as open electives that for a number of credits, they can do anything they want. They can do baking, they can do pastry, they can do accounting, they can do entrepreneurship and so on, whatever that they want. They even can do creative art, dancing arts and so on. I'm not saying total lah, only some over there. Now, why are they doing it? Because we know that a lot of our students here have multiple interests. We take a discipline based on our career. I may take business studies, but I enjoy baking. I enjoy baking, but I haven't done the study of baking. So what I do is I'm allowed to do credits in baking, in pastry. Now, those are very minor, but my degree is still in business. You get what I'm trying to say, yeah? Now, this is what is called transformative learning. A lot of our students do not know what they want. And during university is a time where they feel, they touch, they try. And we try things that at the end of the day, we may like and make it a career, or we may not like and just make it as an experience. Okay, and also by doing so, it allows students to learn in multiple dimensions. If I'm in a very chalkboard kind of program like business, everything is chalkboard, and I take an elective or I take an interest-related course like pastry, the whole dimension of learning is different. It is more hands-on. So I learn from the process also. I learn to follow instructions. Pastry, you need to do that. You can't pour water first. You need to do your eggs first. You need to do this, you need to do that, and so on first. So this is the process. All right. Now, brilliant, brilliant ideas. They can do it because they have the resources. They have the resources. For us to do it, susah lah. Idea is very good. I like the idea, but it's difficult for us to do. Why? Because if we are to do this, there must be a lot of free slots for the student that everybody must be free so that they can take their electives. And the electives must be taught in a way that is during that slot. So it's not that easy. Okay, so this is called customizing products, customizing service, being transformative for the good of the student. Now, I find Taylor's doing it very good, very good. This is a very good idea. I love it. But were they too, in a way, forward thinking, something like my early childhood education? I don't know, okay? Because are we ready for that? Are we Malaysians or the Malaysian market of students ready for that kind of education? Okay, that is a question. And of course, we have lifestyle integration, integrating lifestyle to learning. Okay, that means what we'll say is learning that actually brings students to 3 different campuses. That is what we are doing, right? I believe business school, again, you're planning something with maybe 1 semester in Dubai, 1 semester in Australia or something like that. Something to do with the lifestyle itself because of the link to the experiential learning context. Experiential learning. When you learn through experience in a different environment, a different way of delivery, you then mature differently. All right. For many of you here, when you did your studies, many of you did your studies overseas. You may have done it locally, then you went overseas. And then when you look at it, what is the difference? How were then things done? All right. Over there, very strict. Over there, overseas, lecture. During my time, I still remember some of my lecturers had what you call consultation hours. 1 week can be 1 hour only, can be 2 hours only, and you queue up to see your lecturer. Really queue up one, and the lecturer will see, okay, like give number lah. Oh, I have 1 hour, I have 12 people there, so everybody got 5 minutes, so you see 5 minutes only. So everybody will queue, then after that, he has his secretary to say, anybody queue, no more, finish. Queue. So if you're number 11, you wait lah. You just wait. That is how it is. Now, we accepted it. We accept it because that was how it is. Today, different story lah. Today, you try giving 1 hour consultation to your student, big complaint. Market has changed. Student has changed. Am I saying it's bad? No. But we need to adapt because that is our survival and that is our customer. All right. However, we try our best to educate them to adapt to what is important in learning. Okay. So generally, that is the what transformative and why we need to do transformative learning. Market is changing, environment is changing, students demand, industry. The next part here is the one which is more theoretical. This one, I extracted quite a lot of the information here from MQA documents, government documents, and so on, because I do not want to go against those kind of documents. This is the UOW Malaysia KDU initiatives. What are we doing on our side to counter the demands, to adapt to the demands of transformative learning or the changing nature of students and employers? So what we do here, we have open and distance learning, ODL, and micro-credentials first. Later, we talk about the blended part. Okay, so as I believe many of you have heard, open and distance learning, ODL, refers to the provision of flexible education opportunities in terms of access and multiple modes of knowledge acquisition. Multiple modes of knowledge acquisition. So you gain knowledge in different modes. ODL does not mean totally virtual. Open University offers ODL programs, but student may need to come in 1 week satu kali. Still need tutorial, or maybe 1 month satu kali, or maybe 1 semester satu kali, example lah. Okay, so it's flexible means the ability of choice for education endeavors anywhere, anytime, and anyhow. That is the whole idea. So ODL is widely pushed in our country also because they want to give opportunity for everybody to learn. Okay, everybody. Access means opportunity made available to all, freeing them from constraints of time and place. All right. So if you are looking at ODL and you're looking at SIMS, self-instruction materials, that means you follow that syllabus. Let's say Nora and I are both students in an ODL course. Then what we are evaluated is not on the traditional aspect of attendance. It is achievement. Achievement means this week I got my LLO, lesson learning outcome. Okay. Monday I need to hand in my report on Friday, end of the week, to prove to my cikgu that I've achieved my LLO. Nora may do it on Monday itself. She's very hardworking. Monday, she study everything. Tuesday, she hand in team. I may do last minute work, but I also achieve my goal. So that is what it means by one key benefit of ODL. Why? Most of us are working people. Because we are working people, our schedules are very much different. And because our schedules are different, ODL was developed in such to assist the students in adapting or to assist the students in achieving their goal of qualification. So ODL, Bachelor, MBA, UOW, traditional, conventional, MBA, UOW. One is ODL, one is not conventional. Sama taraf, same level, same quality, same FA. Different submission, but same full accreditation. So what I'm trying to tell you is this. In Malaysia, recognition of ODL and recognition of traditional, conventional is the same under the eyes of Kementerian. Under the eyes of the industry is different. That's how they see it. But we have now heard from the industry based on communication, based on what? The acceptance is the same. Is the same. That means if you have a degree from Leeds University Physical over in UK and you have a ODL Leeds University, same taraf. Okay, that is how they see it. Okay, it's just the process, but the CLO and the PLO is the same. Okay, PLO is the same. Now, multiple modes means the use of various delivery systems and learning resources. See, multiple means various delivery system. ODL doesn't mean online, as I said, so you can use many different ways of delivering. Okay. More and more traditional universities are transforming from single mode to dual mode universities. Dual mode, single mode is like us. We are a conventional university, conventional learning institution in Malaysia. Malaysia got two types. One is the ODL, or what you call the online universities that deliver online programs, and one is conventional or traditional. So traditionally, it is very separated, but now government allowed us to conventional to also do ODL programs. Okay. Now, so once with ODL, then you have this thing called massive open online courses, or also known as MOOCs also lah. So when ODL grows, then we have these MOOCs and so on. Then we have modular short courses and customized company training, so on and whatnot. Later, I'll touch a little bit about what MOOCs are. Okay. Now, basic regulation in Malaysia, a little bit, a program of study is deemed as an ODL program if more than 60% of the courses offered in the program are conducted via open and distance learning. Lebih 60% that is on ODL style, then you can regard yourself as an ODL program. In order for a course means subject, to be considered as an ODL course, at least 80% of the student learning time, SLT, must be delivered via open and distance learning mode. Program, more than 60% of the courses inside are ODL, a program are open or distance learning, then it can be regarded as ODL. And for individual course, each course more than 80% of the SLT of the student must be via open and distance learning. Okay, so as we said, it is not that means 100%. Now, it doesn't mean it has to be, but it can be more than lebih dari 60% mah. So it can be 99% or 100%. But normally, many institutions in the traditional in Malaysia still have that meet once or twice every semester, something like that. Any of you here did a level of study using the ODL method? No? Yes? Any of you here did ada? Mason? ODL?
Oh yeah. No.
No, okay. So I think for most of us old timers, it is more traditional, correct, right? But now a bit different, okay? Because we mustn't forget a lot now. We are targeting a lot of working adults already. We already, as already said, SPM numbers low, student less, so we are needing to target working people. So working people, the thing that they don't have is time and what do you call that? Strict, what do you call that? A flexible schedule. They don't have flexible schedule that they can come anytime for class. So they need to do this on their own time. Okay. Now, then we have micro-credentials. What is micro-credentials? Term that encompass various forms of certification, includes some term called nano degrees, micro masters, credentials, certificates, badges, and so on. Now, micro-credentials in Malaysia is widely pushed. Micro-credentials and ODL are two separate things. ODL is a program on its own. An ODL MBA program. Now, a micro-credential is defined as a digital certificate of assessed knowledge, skills, or competencies in a specific area or field, which can be component of an accredited program or standalone. Course supporting the professional, technical, academic, and personal development of the learners. All right. The definition underscores several key elements of micro-credential under this guideline. The digital certification. When you do micro-credentials, you get a digital certification. There must be knowledge, skills, or competency, specific area or field, component of accredited program, and or so on. Now, in a nutshell, it is like this. The whole idea for micro-credentials, that why we are doing it, is also because when the ministry started it, or when micro-credentials were created, it was very much for the industry. To find out what the industry is lacking, then we come out with courses to meet the needs of the industry. And by doing so, a micro-credential can be accredited or from an accredited program or not from an accredited program. Example, let's say over in UG, over here, there are many factories. I go around the factories and I found out that the thing that the factories need in their staff is communication skill, let's say. So they said, oh, Gabe, all my staff here mainly communication skill, no good. So I come back, I develop a micro-credential called communication in the work environment. It is a short course. It's a micro-credential. I sell it to the company. They can do it. This micro-credential can be virtual or can be face-to-face, no issue. Okay. Now, this is specifically for the company. So when they finish, they get a cert. They get a cert, nothing lah. Okay, congratulations, you graduate with that cert. Now, I can also do this. If this course, communicating for workplace, I look at it in my business in my diploma in business course, there is a subject course called communication. And in that communication subject is 3 credit. And in that communication 3 credit, one part is communication in a work environment. So happen. And that is 1 credit. I'm summarizing it. So what we can do is we can take that and package it as a micro credential. Okay, package it nicely. Of course, the notes, everything will be very nice and so on. We sell it to the company. We tell the students over there, see, we have this course, this program called Communication in Business School, 3 credit. There are 3 micro-credentials here. You want to do 1, fine. But if you do all 3 and you pass, you can get credit transfer when you come and do your diploma program. Okay, now you get the picture. Now, why is this good? Because a lot of these working people, they don't have time. They may do individual micro-credentials on their free time. This week, I do communication 1. I've got 3 micro-credentials, right? I will do the first one. After 2 weeks, I finish. Then next month, I busy. The following month, I do another one. Then after the following month, I do another one. So in 3 bulan, they finish 3 micro-credential, which equates persamaan that 1 subject with us. They don't get anything yet, they just get 3 cert. So as they go on, they collect many micro-credential. And at the end of the day, they find out, wait, I've already do so many micro-credential dalam 3 tahun. It is similar to 8 subjects in the diploma in business. Persamaan 8 subjects lah. So I bring and I say, hey, I want to do your business program, okay, diploma in business. And I've already done all of these micro-credentials. What kind of credit transfer can I get? So the business school, Nora will have her, she and her people will then do credit transfer, check. Boleh, ini semua boleh. Maximum 30% loh. So if the percentage not more than 30%, just 30%, they can tell the student, hey, your micro credentials that you have done under this accredited program already achieved, you can get 25 credits off. So your diploma dari 90 credits sekarang buat 65 sahaja. So they reduce the time for the diploma. Now you see the benefit of micro-credentials because it allows students to do on their free time, and eventually it could be. Now, the student may not have taken the micro-credential first because they want to do a diploma. No, they do for fun. Enjoy. As they enjoy it, they do more. Okay, they come out with their portfolio, sudah banyak buat. Then later you can recognize. In a nutshell, of course, there is a lot of work behind it, but that is the summary. Okay, sikit-sikit. Any questions, guys? So you know what micro-credential is, So there are many different kinds. Not all micro-credential can get credit transfer, Not all can, If it is just English for the workplace, we create one, and it's not linked to any course or program, then you may not get credit transfer, okay? So now, why are we doing this? The reason why, like, this is certain explanation as you go on, you can read on your own, is basically based on what I explained. The reason we are doing this is transformative learning. You may ask, we are a conventional institution, why are we doing ODL? Why are we doing micro-credential? The reason is because this is where the market is growing. That is one market that is not well tapped. It is tapped, people are doing it, but not as aggressively. Okay, so that is one area that the institution is looking into for our growth factor. Okay. Now, justifications for micro-credential. Why micro-credential? Lifelong learning is alternative. Okay, different ways. A lot of people who want to study cannot study because they cannot go to class. Access, and not only cannot go for class, money. Even though ODL, MBA program is nearly 30,000, 25,000, 25,000. Micro-credentials very cheap. It could be much less. Certain ones even minimal. You may learn it for only free, or you learn it for only 10 ringgit or 50 ringgit or 100 ringgit. But when you get credit transfer, there may be a different charge lah. But that is how it is seen. Then it is stackable. Stackable is the example I gave you lah. 1 credit, 1 credit, 1 credit. If it comes from the same institution, you can apply for credit transfer. Okay. And it's a recognition of non-formal learning. For those of you who attended my FLC briefing, Micro-credential is recognized as non-formal learning. So if through micro-credentials, you can also apply for APEL C. So now you know we are heading towards that pathway, more on APEL, more on micro-credentials, more on online distance learning, and so on. Okay. So what are the principles of a good micro-credential? It is outcome-based. There must be an outcome. It is personalized, on-demand, or industry-driven. So it is meeting industry needs, secure and shareable, and transparent. It is very transparent. So you know what you are doing and what is your achievement. Now, the thing about micro-credential is this. Let's say I am an SPM student, 17 tahun, 17 years old. Okay. I can do a micro-credential that it is a master's level. No issue, no issue. Even though the micro-credential explain this is a master's level micro-credential, no problem. But that doesn't mean I can take a master's program. For me to take a master's program, I still need to meet the requirements of entry. But I can do the micro-credential and I can even pass and get an A for that micro-credential. There's no issue. Micro-credential doesn't limit the learning to anybody. It is open. It is totally open. All right. So the recognition of the micro-credential comes later when the institution will then recognize that person, whether they recognize it or not, based on the entry requirements of the program. Okay, basic program. Okay. Now, it's different from ODL. Online distance learning, it is like a conventional program, normal program. The only thing it is delivered online. Majority is delivered online. So the entry requirements, not anybody. That one, it needs to be people who meet the entry requirements of that level. Okay. Now, general policies of micro-credentials in Malaysia. So these are certain general policies in Malaysia. As I said, our handbooks and our guide is very good. Memang baik, implementation lain cerita lah, but memang everything is very good. Okay, so this is something which you just have to do a basic search online, micro-credentials in Malaysia. There is actually a lot of information. Okay, and age of graduations via micro-credential. Some students will go through the micro-credential pathway. They'll pick subject, then they get credit exemption. So it's same like say diploma. Based on current entry requirements is 20. Okay, so normal age of graduation. So this is it. So they actually show lah. So if you go through APEL A, it is 22. If you based on current entry requirements, is 20. Okay, is different. Okay, different like for APEL A and so on. For you to get entry requirements and so on is a little bit different. Need not worry about this lah. Okay, you need not worry. I just wanted to show it only. Okay, and then of course here actually this is also from our guidebook from the ministry. It tells you different kinds of micro credentials. Okay, it can come from component of an accredited program. It can come from a component of an accredited program, but multiple higher education providers. That means we UOW can work with Taylors, can work with Sunway to say that we are going to come up with micro credentials. And these micro-credentials will be recognized by all three institutions, KDU, UOW, Sunway, and Taylors. It can be. There must be agreement. Or stand-alone, additional, alternate, or complementary micro-credentials. This one is very much, we come up with a micro-credential that is not linked to any program. It is very special needs to the industry. Very special needs. Now, I give you another example. Let's say I go out to all the factories over here, and I found out that the factories want to learn dining etiquette. Dining etiquette means how to eat in the restaurant, using the plates, This is nothing to do with any of our program, let's say, but we can create a micro-credential for them. So with that, when they come in, there is no credit transfer lah, because there's no course or program in the institution that does dining etiquette, for example, okay? There's no hotel school. Let's say we got no hotel school lah, so there's nothing. So they just learn it for the sake of learning, untuk dia punya kebaikan. Also can lah. So those are the things on ODL and micro credentials. And the final part over here, I need to talk a little bit about blended learning. Blended learning is what is also transformative learning, is what we are doing. That is another activity, what they call that, drive that we are doing over here. also known as hybrid learning, is a method of teaching that integrates technology and digital media with traditional instructor-led classroom activities, all right? Giving students more flexibility to customize their learning experience. Okay, so the whole idea is to blend it over here. We want an integration. The online part develops a lot in the student. Research, I've already said, done properly, it develops. But at the initial stage, there is going to be complaint. There is going to be complaint. Okay, as I gave you the example of the secondary school students, they were fine. They will say it was good. They managed to do it because they put their own initiative in also. Okay. Now, advantages of blended learning programs. Okay, if you look at like what we are doing, provide a safer learning environment. Of course, it's an environment that students can do it anywhere they want. It increases students' engagement. If you have large classes and whatnot in an online environment, there are ways of getting the students to participate. Okay, you can make it in such a way. In class, there is sometimes in a class you're doing lecture, it is difficult to get the integration, or I would say the engagement of the students. Certain strategies and methods that are done online can encourage, but of course these are interchangeable. Flipping the classroom improves comprehension. When you flip it, you get the student involved in the creation and in the development of knowledge. Then what happens is it improves the comprehension by the students itself. Students have more autonomy over their learning, yes. Some students are nocturnal. Some students study better at night, so they control on their own. Efficient use of instructor time for us. Gather learner data for better insights and access and enroll more students. Yes, to a certain extent, if you look into blended learning where your resources, manpower can be adjusted accordingly, then in the long run, you can also look at larger number of students because of the online aspect involved with it. Okay, but of course that is not our key goal. Our key goal is to develop students so that they have the ability to adapt, to source knowledge on their own. Once they're able to source knowledge on their own, they become more mature learners. That is our goal. Now, whether it's achieved or not, we try our very best, okay, to ensure to push on this agenda. However, this is a process. It is a process itself. Okay, we will find that today students are more adaptable compared to at the initial stage, because a lot of students that come in today have already experienced blended learning environments in school. Okay, secondary school had the 1 day in, 1 day out, 1 week in, 1 week out kind of thing. So they were already doing blended. The problem is this: they may not have done it properly, thus giving students a bad experience. Okay, some students will get a very bad experience because maybe the what the school did wasn't on par or wasn't what was supposed to be done. All right. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, in summary, I would like to take the opportunity to stress on these key aspects over here. When we talk about transformative learning, it is important for us to know what is the future of higher education in today's world and why we need to adapt, why we need to change, why we need to be able to transcend a different level. Because at the end of the day, what we see here is the end of the day, it is what is being learned by the student that is critical, what is being learned by the students. So when what is being learned by the student is critical, we need to make sure that we know how do we deliver. Because if the student doesn't get the right knowledge, the right skills, then what is going to happen is when this person goes out to the industry, this person will lose out. Okay, so it is, as I stressed earlier on in my session, what the industry wants. What the industry wants is critical. What we do to ensure that it achieves that. Okay, then what we covered is also we covered aspects pertaining to what are our activities that we do over here: ODL, micro credentials, blended and hybrid learning. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, are there any other questions that you have? No? So I hope you guys have followed. understand these basic key aspects over here to be competitive. And also remember that simple equation I get on students' experience transforming is very important. Learning is not only the knowledge, it is the process. And the process is impacted by the surrounding. Okay? Learning will be impacted when the surrounding is not feasible. Okay, so that is that in a nutshell will be what we will be able to see to be able to drive on the key aspects on students' experience. And never forget, we have all the processes ready. We have our graduate attributes. We have aspects pertaining to even our MQA documents. Our MQA documents are very good, guys. Let me tell you that. Our MQA, MQF documents are very good. It is very thorough. It even tells you what is expected from a level 4 diploma, what is expected from a level 6 degree, and so on. The implementation is a different story. So those things are already there that will guide all of us in the way that we deliver. So we need to then transcend, be able to see what then will be important for the students of the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, if there are no questions, I see Mr. Fu is typing. Is Mr. Fu typing over there? Is there a question? No? You can unmute yourself. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have a good day. And I'll see you when I see you. Anytime, my friends, you can feel free to send me a mail, drop by, we can chat on these matters, all right? If you want to come up with strategies and so on. Thank you. Bye-bye. Sayonara. Thank you. Thank you, Maravi.